And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Yankee Stadium. Great to have you with us alongside John Smoltz and Ron Darling. I'm Brian Anderson. What a setting here tonight for a Game 5, an elimination game. The winner of this series will match up against the Texas Rangers in the ALCS. And Ron, you take a look at this series. It's been a lot of fun. In 4 games, we have had some impressive individual performances up to now.
Well, some superstars have really left their mark on this series. In Game 1, Robinson Cano was outstanding. Hit a grand slam in that game, and he drove in 6. In the second game, Miguel Cabrera, their big superstar for the Detroit Tigers, he got them off to a great start with this 2-run home run in the first inning, gave the Tigers the lead. Game 3, pitching duel. Verlander outlasted Sabathia, 8 innings, 11 strikeouts. And in the 4th game, a great catch in the first inning by Curtis Granderson. Another one later in the game, and that was the defensive play of this series.
Yeah, and who will be in the headlines when we get here tomorrow and read about this Game 5. Now, John Smoltz, this is a situation where normally when you're in a Game 5 setting, you have a matchup of 2 aces. But tonight, it is going to be Doug Fister and Ivan Nova. These are 2 number 2s who will match up tonight. In your mind, and you've pitched in decisive games before, how will this play out for these 2 starting pitchers?
Well, the amazing thing is the crowd's going to be amped, the players are going to be amped, but these guys got to control their aggression. They have to be closers in the first inning. They've got to get their team up 0s to get it going, and then what they've got to do is pass it on to each bullpen. For the Tigers, their bullpen's been pretty good. After 8 innings, they're undefeated. There's their closer in Valverde. They would love to see him dance here in New York. But for the Yankees, their bullpen is equally better. It's the 3-headed monster that they have, but at the end of the game, it's Rivera. And look for Rivera to possibly pitch more than 1 inning in a game like this.
Well, one thing we know, this series will end tonight. The winner moves on. The loser, they go home. It's a Game 5, elimination day at Yankee Stadium. A packed house here at Yankee Stadium tonight. Could not ask for a better night for weather. 62 degrees, clear skies up above. It's like playing indoors right now as we are set for Game 5, and we check in with the 4th member of our team, Sports Illustrated's Tom Verducci.
Well, you know, Ivan Nova is on the doorstep of a unique place in Yankees postseason history. The Yankees have played 21 of these sudden death postseason games. Only 2 of their starting pitchers have come out of those games with the win. Johnny Cucks back in the 1956 World Series and Ralph Terry in the 1962 World Series. Both of those occurred on the road. So no Yankees starter has won a sudden death game at home. And here is Ivan Nova, a 24-year-old rookie, a rookie who is in the minor leagues in the middle of July, has the opportunity to be the first.
What an impressive opportunity. He said he would be very nervous. It would be the biggest start of his career, and he'll be the first rookie pitcher to start a decisive postseason game for the Yankees since 1964. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Autotrader.com. For the Tigers, Austin Jackson will lead off, then Don Kelly at third base batting second. Delman Young in the 3-hole. Miguel Cabrera bats 4th with Victor Martinez the designated hitter. Nagli Ordonez in the 6-hole for Leland. The bottom 3, Alex Avila the catcher. Johnny Peralta the all-star shortstop with Ramon Santiago at second base. The 5th different starting lineup for Jim Leland in this series. And there is Ivan Nova, the first rookie since Mel Stottlemyre lost to Bob Gibson in Game 7 of the '64 World Series to start a decisive game, John.
Well, it's an incredible feeling to be on the mound. See if he can do what he did in the first game and get the Tiger hitters to swing at a lot of pitches out of the zone.
Austin Jackson leads off, and a swing and a miss, and we are underway in Game 5 at Yankee Stadium. The Tigers took a very aggressive approach on Ivan Nova the first time around. It was technically a relief appearance for Ivan Nova and Doug Fister, finishing off Game 1.
Little cutter slider on the outside part there by Nova, just misses.
Home plate umpire is Ted Barrett tonight. And Jackson swings and misses. Martin secures it at first. And this one tonight starts with a strikeout from Ivan Nova.
Well, defensively behind Nova in today's game, you'll see Gardner in left field, Granderson in center had those 2 great catches, and Swisher in right field. You can see all the gold on that infield. Alex Rodriguez, though, won his 2 gold gloves as a shortstop. Russell Martin behind the plate. He's done an outstanding job of blocking the baseball.
And Joe Girardi said he would be a key tonight with the 24-year-old Ivan Nova, navigating him through this game, and a very powerful offensive team, the Detroit Tigers. Don Kelly in the 2-hole tonight for Jim Leyland. Kelly gets to start at third base. He's comfortable at third base, but Leyland says he likes him in there for this, his bat, especially at Yankee Stadium, and Don Kelly answers the call from his manager. 1-0 Tigers as Don Kelly goes deep.
Well, when we see this pitch on the replay, it's a curveball over the middle of the zone. The first game that Nova pitched, he threw primarily fastballs in that first inning.
Well, it's interesting talking to Jim Leyland. You can see that breaking ball John was talking about. He talked about his 5th different lineup that Brian, you brought up, and he said he liked Kelly. He liked that he had some power, he had some pop, especially in this smaller ballpark.
Pays off right away as Delman Young on the first pitch. A high fly ball deep left, and there it goes. Back-to-back home runs for the Tigers. Kelly and Young, and it is 2-0 Detroit right out of the gates.
Well, once again, the first pitch that Mr. Young likes, he did throw him something other than a fastball. You could not ask for a better start. Now here's a pitcher, Nova, who, as we look at this pitch right here, it's going to be away, and he cuts it right down the middle, no break whatsoever, and now the Tigers are up 2-0. Nova's a rhythm pitcher. He's only given up home runs this year, solo home runs. So he's still okay when you think about what goes on in a big inning. He's just going to have to settle down a little bit quicker.
Here is Miguel Cabrera, and a strike on Cabrera. Delman Young is putting together quite an ALDS. That is his 3rd home run. Has had a game-winning home run for the Tigers in this series, and his 2nd first-inning home run of this series. Remember, he homered in Game 1 against CC Sabathia.
John, I don't care if you're a 10-year veteran or a rookie. This has to shake you to your core, giving up back-to-back home runs.
Cabrera down on strikes on 3 consecutive pitches. 2 Ks to go along with 2 home runs. Jim Leyland pulling the right card today with Kelly then Young, and they respond with back-to-back home runs for the Tigers.
Well, typically, Ron, to get somebody out of rhythm, you try to get him out of the stretch. He's a rhythm pitcher. He's got this freedom when he throws the baseball. He did give up those home runs, and he's still pitching out of the windup, but you're right, it's got to throw you off just a little bit. Your confidence is, as I mentioned, you got to be the closer in the first inning. Try to put up zeros, and now, of course, it'll be on Pfister to see if he can make that hold up in the first.
Now the road team has scored in the first inning in 4 of the 5 games. And the Tigers have hit 4 home runs here at Yankee Stadium in the first inning. And 2 today from Kelly and Young. 2 outs for Victor Martinez, and a bouncing ball over is Cano. Off balance throw in time, inning over. But the Tigers started with a bang tonight. Don Kelly, followed by Delman Young. 2-0 Detroit as we go to the bottom of the first inning.
Andy Pettit, we saw throw out the baseball in Game 1 before the game, his first pitch. I was just thinking, you know, they always had him to go to in these crucial games for all those seasons.
Well, Nova picked Pettit's brain and watched a lot of things that he did to see how he did do it. So there's a wealth of knowledge, and Nova's willing to learn from all those great pitchers they had. And for both these guys, it's real similar. Pfister probably took a nap before today's game. That's how he relaxes. Nova's very relaxed. You wouldn't know if he was pitching or not pitching. You know, it's a good formula to have, but when you get on that mound, see if you can put it to use.
Jeter, and that is, oh, what a play. Cabrera on his glove side to the bag. Miguel Cabrera saves an extra base hit. And Jeter is robbed. First out of the first inning for Doug Fister is a beauty.
Well, the defensive positioning of Cabrera this entire series has been close to the line on Jeter as they're trying to take away that extra base hit, and just a beautiful play to his left and then covering the bag.
So one gone, and Curtis Granderson coming up. Granderson did the damage with his glove in Game 4 of this ALDS. Those two terrific catches that Ron Darling pointed out in our open, and it was really a game changer. Might have been a series changer. That catch Granderson made in the first inning, robbing Don Kelly of extra bases, perhaps even an inside the park grand slam in Game 4.
You could make the argument, even though the score got out of hand, that without those catches the Yankees aren't here tonight.
Granderson also had an RBI in that game. And down he goes. So Fister, who works fast, throws a lot of strikes, has 2 quick outs here in the first inning.
We talked about those 5 different lineups. The defense for the Detroit Tigers, Young, Jackson, and Ordonez, who started the first couple of games. Don Kelly gets a start at third base. Peralta Santiago has played a lot in this series. Cabrera with that great play, and Avila doing the catching. A little banged up is Alex behind the plate.
The Tigers have been tight defensively. No errors in this ALDS. That would be the first post-series in franchise history without an error, if they can navigate their way through this game. Fister's the kind of guy that promotes good defense as well. He is around the strike zone, usually throws it where he wants it, and works fast. Robinson Cano with 2 away.
Well, what you're not going to see is 3 pitches in the same spot and the same 3 pitches. He really has a good feel for the game, whether it's a cutter, a curveball, changeup, up, down. He really works the zone and keeps the hitters guessing.
Bouncing ball to Peralta. And a good start for Doug Fister. John said you got to be a closer in the first inning, and Fister goes 1-2-3. Second inning, and a reminder that this American League Division Series coverage on TBS is brought to you in HD by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Yankee Stadium has another ball game to play. They weren't sure when they left town whether there'd be another game here at Yankee Stadium, but after the Tigers won the middle 2 games, games 2 and 3, the Yankees coming up with a big win in Game 4, and here we are, Game 5, the first of 3 Game 5 elimination games over the next couple of days on TBS. You got both in the National League in a Game 5 scenario tomorrow. Ivan Nova back on the mound. Maglio Ordonez leads off for Detroit, and he's swinging away on the first pitch.
Well, if this were a football game and the other team returned the kickoff for a touchdown, you still got plenty of time to recover, and I think that's the feeling you got to have as a pitcher. No big deal. That's it. That's all I'm getting. My team has scored me a lot of runs throughout the year, and when I get the lead, I'm undefeated.
But I think one thing it does tell you is that Detroit came in pretty loose to this game to be able to deliver those 2 home runs, and the pressure goes right on Joe Girardi's team here, playing in their house, down by 2.
0-2 on Maglio Ordonez, and a foul tip in and out of the glove of Russell Martin. Ordonez stays alive barely.
The only thing he does sometimes, Ron, on that pitch is he stands up a little bit, and that slider just kind of spins over the middle. When he gets down through it, he's a big guy, a lot of leverage, a lot of arm length. When he gets down through it, that slider bites harder, and he gets more swings and misses.
Nova did not allow a home run in the first inning all season during the regular season. 2 of them here tonight.
Just interesting. He's changed his game plan a little. In the first start that he pitched many more fastballs. He's really relying on his slider here in his second start.
Ordonez down the right field line. Long run for Swisher in the corner, and that will slice foul in the seats. So Ordonez still at it. A ball and 2 strikes on the former batting champion. Won a batting title as a member of the Tigers in '07. The Tigers had a batting champion this year in Miguel Cabrera. There is A.J. Burnett picking up a key win. If the Yankees should advance, can look to Burnett's start on Tuesday night. And a swing and a foul tip. That one in and out of the glove of Martin as well. There's no skill in that play for a catcher. It is either in the glove or it is not.
When you're spread out, though, like Martin is right here, there's more places that you can get hit, and that one foul tip right off the instep of his right shoe.
Russell Martin has had a great series behind the plate, blocking pitches, and you figure he'll be blocking a ton tonight with Ivan Nova in that breaking ball. As Ordonez rips one down the left field line, that's going to go to the wall. Gardner picks it up, and Ordonez into second base. It's a leadoff double. Maglio Ordonez now with 4 hits in this ALDS. He is 4 for 9.
3 extra base hits in this game, all on breaking pitches. The 2 home runs, and here this double from Ordonez.
Yeah, the cat and mouse game between a pitcher and the team he's faced for the second time is he threw a lot of fastballs, was effective, and then later on mixed it up. Sometimes I think you can overthink yourself into saying they're going to attack me early, I'll get my breaking pitches over. But to Ordonez, who has been beaten a lot on fastballs, you kind of give him a chance to catch up to an off-speed pitch.
Well, it'll be Alex Avila, the Tiger catcher, still looking for his first hit of this postseason. And the Yankees bullpen is active already. Phil Hughes is loosening. Hughes pitched on Tuesday and was impressive. He struck out 2 batters in a 3-up, 3-down inning in the 8th inning against the Tigers in Detroit.
You know, game 5s are great for everybody but the pitchers because it can get away quick and you don't have that leash of making up for a mistake or two. And that's why getting out of the gate is so important in an elimination game, to at least pitch as deep as you can and not have that bullpen going.
You know, it's interesting you say that, John, because in your career, your game 7s are so memorable. I pitched a couple in my career, and that is exactly what happened. They just get away from you so quickly that you can't even, the world moves so quickly, and you're off the mound before you know it.
Avila, bouncing ball. Robinson Cano will make the play. A productive out for Alex Avila as Maglio Ordonez advances to third base. And the Tigers have a runner 90 feet away with just 1 away in the 2nd inning.
Watch Cano on this ground ball. Very important as he backhands. He takes a shot and a look at maybe going to third base to get Ordonez, but thought it was too risky a play. Proceeded to first for the sure out.
And again, maybe if they're 2-0 up, he takes that shot.
Yeah.
You never want to create a big inning, but you also can't play super tight in these games.
Yankees have their infield in. Johnny Peralta at the plate. Peralta 4 for 15 during this ALDS, has a couple of doubles, has an RBI. He was a home run hitter during the regular season. Made the All-Star team, first-time All-Star for Peralta. He was a member of the Cleveland Indians that eliminated the Yankees back in '07 here at Yankee Stadium, as that one is bounced to Rodriguez. 2 outs in the inning and a big out for Ivan Nova. Maglio Ordonez has to stay put at third base.
Boy, that ball hit right on the nose by Peralta, but right at Alex, who was in, even with the bag. Gets Ordonez back to third base and gets the easy out of first.
And now the Yankees can put their infield back to normal depth with Ramon Santiago stepping in. Detroit's 9-hole hitter. Santiago had a big game 3, 2 for 4 with 2 runs batted in. Alex Rodriguez step on the grass even with 2 outs.
It's only a couple at bats, but Santiago's 2 for 2 with runners in scoring position this series. He has been clutch.
skips away from Martin a little bit, but Ordonez won't challenge him. That's the other part for the Tigers, being aggressive on the base paths, doing whatever they can to get a runner at third base, because Nova pitches in the dirt quite a bit.
Well, Joe Girardi said that he hasn't seen anyone any better than Russell Martin's been all season long. You see the catcher, if a ball hits the dirt, they'll throw it away and get a new ball from the umpire. No one's done that more than Martin this series.
And has the bruises to show for it as well. 2 balls and a strike on Santiago with a runner at third. And he cuts through 2-2.
Two-out runs are daggers in an elimination game, but so is the inability to get a runner in from third with less than 2 outs. So far a draw. See how this inning plays out with 2 strikes.
Another great play by Russell Martin. Keeps it in front. Nova in a full count against Santiago. Tigers have driven in 1 2-out run in the last 26 innings. Both of Santiago's hits were as a right-handed batter. He's looking for his first hit as a lefty. Inning started with a double from Magglio Ordonez, a 2-strike double. He fouled off a couple of pitches, rips it down the left field line. He's at third base. Nova trying to get through this second. And a swing and a miss. Down he goes on strikes. Ivan Nova puts up a 0 in the second. Alex Rodriguez will lead off. We head to the home second in a moment. To the 9, the Yankees went all the way to the World Series, a World Series title that year, and they're hoping to keep those hopes alive in 2011, facing elimination for the second consecutive game. The Tigers are up 2-0. Alex Rodriguez leads off. Doug Fister, a quick first inning, 3 up and 3 down with a strikeout.
Rodriguez had 2 hits in that 8th inning when the New York Yankees batted around. See if it translates to this game.
There's a lot of Yankee bats that got healthy in that big inning for the Yankees in Detroit. It was a 10-1 final score. It was a 6-run 8th inning on 7 hits. The 6'8" Doug Fister. He's 27 years of age. Played his college ball at Fresno State. Began the year with the Seattle Mariners.
Interesting sequence of pitches there, John. Pounded them in with that fastball and then came back with a changeup in the same spot.
When you pound somebody in, they're trying to speed their bat up. And so when they're trying to speed their bat up, you slow it down with the changeup. The reason I think this series, beyond just the fact that it's in Game 5, is so intriguing for me is that the relentless Yankees and their patience, because they've been there, done that so many times. You got the young players of the Tigers going there for the first time, and that tension causes you to just be a little bit too aggressive. Like the Yankees have struggled offensively till last game. There's no panic. I mean, they just know how to be in this moment. You got the veteran Rivera at the end of the game, and a guy who was perfect for the Tigers in their bullpen, but still not the experience factor. And so each team's trying to put themselves in the best situation to win the game. And right now, Detroit's got the early edge.
And a strike called outside corner as Pfister rings up Alex Rodriguez.
Well, as you mentioned it, Ron, a lot of pitches were down in the zone, and he got the benefit here of going in for effect, getting the call here for the slow slider, and then going back in, getting the foul ball, and then the changeup, which allowed that rhythm to be changed. Gets a good fastball in, and then again the effect to get him out of the way. Beautiful job.
That is the definition of painting by a pitcher, as Doug Pfister picks up his second strikeout, facing Mark Teixeira with one away. Teixeira in this series is 2 for 15. Has just one at-bat as a right-handed hitter. Most of his at-bats have come against a lefty. The Tigers do not have any left-handed starters in their rotation as Teixeira rips that one. That is headed for the gap. And a one-hopper out of here. A ground rule double for Mark Teixeira. So the first Yankees hit comes with one out in the second inning.
Interesting about that hit, the second double for Teixeira in this series, is that his bat has been a little slow. So the changeup thrown there by Pfister right into his alley. One hop over the fence. Nice play by Hughes. Just right on that changeup. That was well placed away from Teixeira. Good play coverage.
And now Teixeira in scoring position for Nick Swisher. See the numbers on Swisher. His one home run came here at Yankee Stadium. And he takes a strike from Pfister, and a lot of questioning of the home plate umpire Ted Barrett early by the Yankees hitters.
Well, Ted Barrett so far has had a very aggressive strike zone.
Right here, Swish could help himself. He has not been very good with runners in scoring position early on.
Well, that first hit came in Game 4, the first hit of his postseason career. Nick Swisher now 1 for 29 with runners in scoring position with men on base. He's 4 for 48 in his postseason career. Has a chance to put the Yankees on the board. He gets jammed on a hop to Peralta. And there is out number 2. Teixeira has to stay put. Now Pfister, don't be fooled by his numbers in his appearance in Game 1, which was technically a relief appearance. 4 2/3 innings. He gave up 7 hits and 6 earned runs. That looks like a bad outing, but really the Robinson Cano grand slam home run, those were Pfister's runs, 3 of the 4. Pfister pitched pretty well that game until that 6th inning.
Well, Jorge Posada has probably been their most consistent bat in this series. He's reached base 9 times, 4 hits, 4 walks, and a hit by pitch.
Posada with 2 outs. And he swings away on the first pitch. Posada is having a good series. He's 4 for 10. He's walked 4 times. He's been hit by a pitch. On base 9 times through the first 4 games of this series. And John, you talk about experience. Jorge Posada, his 15th year performing in a postseason, has 124 postseason games on his register.
Some of those outs, he had great at bats. I think of all the Yankees, arguably he's had some of the best at bats, best approach, seeing the ball.
From Pfister. It's 1 2 on Posada. .25 pitches for Pfister. Very economical in the first. Yankees have done a lot of damage with 2 outs in this series. They've scored 12 2-out runs so far through the first 4 games. And down he goes. Fister strikes out Posada. 2 called strike threes in the second inning. 3 strikeouts total. 2-0 Tigers. Solo homers in the first inning. Don Kelly and Delman Young. And our 2 pitchers, Ron and John, said it would be a short leash, and was it ever for Ivan Nova. Phil Hughes is in the game to start the 3rd inning for the Yankees.
Yeah, Phil Hughes had a little issues late in the season with his back, coming out of relief, threw the ball extremely well in the 1 inning. And then, of course, everybody a little bit shocked of the early departure. Maybe Cabrera saying, well, what happened?
He's like, why is Hughes coming in? We weren't done with Nova yet.
Interesting reaction by the big Tiger slugger. So Girardi with the quick hook. Top of the order coming up. Austin Jackson for the Tigers. Phil Hughes was very impressive on Tuesday, and he had his velocity back. I think as the Yankees watch Phil Hughes, Girardi and pitching coach Larry Rothschild, when they see the life on his fastball, and they feel pretty good about where he is. He's been battling back problems this year. Late in the season, had back spasms, unable to put his way into the starting rotation down the stretch. But here he is coming out of the bullpen, trying to bridge some innings for the Yankees.
I thought he was a big key this year for the Yankees, and I know it didn't go the way he wanted it or the Yankees, because I think he is a solid pitcher that hasn't yet found what he's really capable of doing. They limited the innings, and I think in this situation, obviously he's got to eat up some innings, but I think in the future for the Yankees, it's real important to get Phil Hughes back in the rotation.
Don't forget, it was Hughes who played such an important role in 2009 out of the bullpen, made 9 appearances that October.
And a strike called. Down goes Jackson. Phil Hughes strikes out the Tigers leadoff hitter in the 3rd.
Just a great fastball that stays down, looks like it might even be low. It stays on plane, 94 miles an hour. And I think for Joe Girardi, he's looking for a little more mix and match out of Phil Hughes. Power fastball, get the hitters a little bit more off balance than what they were early on against Nova.
Can't get too opposite of pitchers. Nova with that big arm action, and Hughes throws almost more like a catcher with that short arm action.
Don Kelly homered in the 1st, but the Tigers on the board. Hughes, good life on the fastball already, coming right out of the bullpen in the low to mid 90s. An 18-game winner last year as a starter for the Yankees. Won just 5 this season. And a swing and a miss. Phil Hughes with back-to-back strikeouts.
There's a lot of things that can get your team going. A fine defensive play, getting some hits, but also a reliever coming in and shutting down the opposition can give your team a lift also.
Now, this does not figure a game that 2 runs is going to win it. It has a feel with these 2 big offenses, and the Tigers are often running early. After the Kelly home run, it was Delman Young who launched one, no doubter, into left field. His 3rd home run of this series. 3 of his 5 hits have gone out of the ballpark. Tigers got him from the Twins on August 15th. Talking to Jim Leland, one of the main reasons why the Tigers wanted Young is because of his great finish for the Minnesota Twins a season ago, as Hughes narrowly misses off the corner. And Young rips one to right. Back is Swisher, and he looks up. It's off the wall. Swisher will hold Young to a single. Delman Young, red hot in this ALDS. and 2 for 2 tonight.
Product of being a 3-1 count. He'd been staying away from him all at bat. He just picked on a good fastball. It's not a bad pitch. He's strong enough to go the other way, a little more lift, and he'd have another home run.
Well, he might have the best protection in this series with Miguel Cabrera hitting behind him.
Now, Delmon Young, not a typical 3-hole hitter in this lineup. You figure Cabrera would be that guy, but Leland has Cabrera in the protection position with Delmon Young. He sees a lot of strikes, and he does a lot with them. So here is Cabrera with 2 away, and he's swinging away at the first pitch.
You know, a lot of people might be at home going, I wonder why he went to that move so early. I think partly due to Phil Hughes' performance in Detroit.
Yeah.
I think that sped up the fact that we can get some innings out of Phil, buy some time, turn it over to our pen. We talked about the pen having a big impact, and not let Nova get in any more issues or troubles might be the reason we went to Phil Hughes.
Cabrera's had a lot of success against Phil Hughes. And not this time as Jeter ranges over, shovels to Cano, inning over. Phil Hughes, a scoreless third. Second pitcher of the night already for the Yankees. Game 5, series that is all tied at 2 apiece. And a reminder, get the latest insider analysis on today's hot topics, like Cal Ripken Jr. discussing what it takes to be a perfect playoff pitcher. Go behind the mic with the biggest names in sports. Presented by Allstate, exclusively on SI.com. Both of your reactions were unbelievable there about Cal Ripken.
Yeah,
at the same time.
That was great.
I don't think it was great. I think you were wondering why Cal Ripken would be saying that. Two experienced playoff pitchers.
Definitely not.
I'm sorry they didn't ask you to do it. John Smoltz, Ron Darling. Russell Martin leads off for the Yankees. Martin, Gardner, then back to the top of the order, Derek Jeter. Doug Fister has given up just 1 hit. It was a double with 1 away by Mark Teixeira, and has 3 strikeouts thus far to the first 7 batters he's faced. A shattered bat and an easy play for Don Kelly. 1 away, and we check in Atlanta with Matt Weiner. Matt.
Hey, Brian, time for a game break presented by...
Didn't take it to 5 games. Texas won that series in 4, and you guys are headed to Philadelphia. You'll have the terrific matchup of former Cy Young Award winners filling in a relief appearance for Bob Brenly, whose son is getting married, and he has left that crew. And John and Ron will be on the air with Dick Stockton tomorrow for the Phillies and the Cardinals.
John, you and I hitting the turnpike tonight, but you've been a closer. I've never been a closer. This will be my first time going to Game 5 and closing.
It can be fun.
Brett Gardner with 1 away. And Gardner back up the middle. Well, he continues his hitting ways. Gardner is now 6 for 14 in this series. He has been the one consistent bat for the Yankees so far.
Well, for whatever reason, another pitch, the 0-2, I reminded of the 0-2 pitch where he got the hit that started the big rally, was a breaking ball, and I think they're going to have to change the approach with 2 strikes and try to do something different.
Fister gave up both of those hits. 0-2 hits to Gardner.
Well, we'll see if Brett Gardner is on the move here. Had 49 stolen bases during the regular season. The running game has not been a big part of this series yet. With 2 very good catchers in Avila and Russell Martin holding down that running game for the most part. One thing to keep in mind about Fister as well, even though he's 6'8", tall and gangly, he is an outstanding defender once he lets the pitch go. It's not uncommon to see him diving all over the field, sprawling out.
So you got to be pretty athletic at 6'8" to be able to move your feet around the mound and have a quick move to home plate. But he has been able to do that and keep only 4 of 6 potential base stealers. And that's pretty incredible if you think about it. He's making all those starts, only 6 attempts
Well, you think about it, almost every tall pitcher in baseball is easy to steal on because they have a big leg kick, they have a lot of moving parts. I'm thinking of the pitcher Chris Young, who pitched for years for San Diego, the Mets, earlier this year. It's very difficult sometimes for them to hold on, but everyone has bragged about the athleticism of Pfister.
So far early on, if you're a pitcher, Ted Barrett has said the pitch down in the zone is going to be the strike. Anything close up, borderline would be a ball. So you know to get your calls, you have to get the ball down.
Saw Jimmy Leland giving the signs there to Avila, letting him know whether to give a sign to throw over. Shake of his head, back to his sinker. And if you watch Gardner, just gets back to first base. When you watch him take his lead, he almost cocks his arm, his right arm in front of him. And what he does is he tries to take that arm and pull it through towards second base. Close play.
And Pfister showing the quick feet on the mound. You've seen why he is tough to run on. Pitcher-catcher combination. As Jeter takes a strike. A lot of movement from Doug Pfister. Jeter gave up on it. 2-2 the count on the Yankee leadoff hitter.
Jeter's taking a couple of pitches down the middle, but don't forget he's also trying to give Gardner a chance to steal the base.
There was a moment in this series with Gardner at first, Jeter at the plate. The runner took off and the second baseman covered. We'll see if the Tigers adjust that. In that same scenario, Gardner stays put. Jeter swings and misses. Another strikeout for Doug Pfister.
Did a good job of keeping the ball down. He crossfired a couple of them, but that's a good setup to what you're going to try to do to him. All of these pitches were supposed to be in. That one came back over the plate. That one came back over the plate, but he got the strike. And the same thing happened there with that sinker. Sometimes you try to get the ball in. You just pull the ball enough. He got away with it, and the ball sunk under the bat of Jeter.
Location didn't get him. Movement did.
Sure.
A lot of bite on that sinking fastball. Granderson takes a ball. Curtis Granderson struck out in the first inning. Has struck out 7 times in this series. Does have a homer. He's driven in 3.
In this park, more than any other park, especially in the playoffs, Pfister at home can do a little bit more with the luxury of the middle part of the field, center field especially. Let him hit it out there. Here you got to move in and out. You cannot let these Yankee hitters get on top of the plate and hit it down the lines where it is so easy to hit a home run, or easier than at Comerica Park.
Now Pfister only allowed 11 home runs all season. Only allowed 4 as a Tiger. He arrived in Detroit on the 30th of July. Didn't give up many home runs. The Yankees, on the other hand, they led all of baseball in home runs.
This is not your typical 3-0 count pitch right here. You cannot just lay one in there knowing that Cano's on deck and he's going to take a walk.
Rob Thompson, the third base coach, with the signs. Problem you have with your sinker ball pitcher with Granderson, he's right on the plate, so that ball that's on the corner away sometimes is the middle of the plate for him.
Cabrera told him he's off the bag. Be a running lead for Gardner. All you care about right here as the pitcher is making the best 3-2 pitch you can make.
Full count, 2 outs. Gardner with blinding speed. And he takes off, and Granderson takes ball 4. So the Yankees making a little noise here in the 3rd inning. Granderson draws the walk. That's the first walk issued by Pfister. And here comes Robinson Cano.
Every pitcher gets through a point in the game where there's a tense moment. The first tense moment here, 2 outs. Luckily, you're with 2 outs. Just got to keep making pitches. Limit the damage.
All of Cano's RBIs in the series have come with 2 outs. Drove in 6 runs in game 1, including a grand slam. 2 on, 2 away. And we take you back. Grand slam. This was Saturday as game 1 continued. That was off Al Albuquerque, and he went into the second deck on a night when the wind was blowing in from right field, and that was a put-away grand slam for the Yankees. The Yankees would go on to win game 1 behind Ivan Nova.
Well, as Avila goes out there, you can tell that Pfister, even in that first confrontation with Cano, has been pitching him in off the plate to get him out away. If Cano can work the middle of the diamond or even left and left center, he'll have an advantage against Pfister.
But see, that's a perfect example of the experience and how good Cano is. Those were 2 pitches a lot of guys might have went after, aggressively trying to get your team back in the ball game. He patiently waited and stayed off of those 2 pitches, and now he's got the count in his favor. This time of the year, you need those heroes, your studs on your team, to not try and get it done too quick. Let the game come to you and let another pitcher get himself in trouble.
And you know, you never want to pitch with the bases loaded, but you do not want to throw a cookie here to Cano, especially when I think they've identified that Alex Rodriguez is an easier out in this series so far.
And Pfister is a strike thrower. So the Tigers do have a base open. Unfortunately, it is third base. We'll see how he works to Cano. Big pitch coming up. And it's a strike right at the bottom of the strike zone, maybe a little off the plate. Gets the call.
That's where you got to go to get it. You've got to get it down.
And gets back in the count. 2-2 now on Cano. It looks like so far Doug Pfister is able to put it where he wants it. He's made some big pitches already in this game. Stranded a runner at second base in the second inning. Retired Swisher and Posada. Has 2 on here against Cano. Yankees very fast on the bases with Gardner and Granderson.
Pfister pitches off the right side of the rubber to utilize his sinker against left-handers and give him the angle that he needs.
Cano into left, slicing foul. That'll head to the seats.
Tom Brookins pushing Delmon Young back in left field. Cano has power to all fields.
He fouls another one away. Count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
John, I think Avila's going out there because 2 consecutive pitches missed by Pfister there, both up in the strike zone.
Absolutely. This crowd is waiting to erupt. And if Pfister throws a couple more up there, they may get their wish.
Has not thrown a curveball to Cano yet in this series of pitches.
Cano out ahead of one. A pop up behind the plate, and that'll end up in the seats. So Robinson Cano hanging tough. Count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cano in his matchups against Pfister in game 1 was 1 out of 3. He doubled in a run against Pfister. The 2 base runners will be off with a crack of the bat. 2 outs in the inning. And Cano in the center field. Austin Jackson is there, and the side is retired. Got in on his hands a little bit. Cano flies out. Inning over. Pfister still working on a shutout through 3. Times Square all lit up. 2-0 Tigers. 5 2-0 Tigers. And you can catch all the action of the 2011 Major League Baseball Division Series on TBS. Join the postseason debate at MLBFancave.com and follow the action on Twitter with the hashtag postseason. Legends are born in October. And will we have a legend born here tonight? Hughes, the man, and Hughes is in to start his 2nd inning of work. A scoreless 3rd. Ivan Nova is out. The Yankees starter went 2 innings, gave up 3 hits and 2 runs. Bit of a surprise that Joe Girardi went to his bullpen so early. And now Hughes to face Victor Martinez to start it off.
Joe Girardi and the Yankees could not wait for Nova to find his breaking ball, and he also wanted to bring in Hughes to start an inning. He didn't want to bring him in the middle of the inning with runners on base.
That is a do-or-die matchup tonight. Game 5 of this best-of-5 series. The Yankees won the opener. Jim Leyland's Tigers won the 2 games in the middle, games 2 and 3, and then the Yankees winning game 4. The Texas Rangers await. Certainly watching this one very closely. Rangers defeating the Tampa Bay Rays in the ALDS.
I think the Rangers are hoping this game goes about 17 innings.
That series begins Saturday night on Fox as the Rangers and either the Yankees or the Tigers to see who goes to the World Series as Martinez pulls one foul. Boone Logan starts to get loose in the Yankee bullpen.
This will be a spring training type game, and when you see a spring training, these hitters won't get used to a starter or a reliever more than one at bat, it looks like. So a lot of matchups and trying to do what you can to get it through 7.
Martinez pops it up. Martin will give it a look, and he'll make the play just in front of the net. Victor Martinez is retired, 1 away in the 4th, and we check in with Tom Verducci.
Well, as to the question of Phil Hughes, the timing coming into the game, remember, he'd pitched all year, trained as a starting pitcher. He did get a couple of relief appearances at the end of the season the last week, and he told me he's glad he got those under his belt. But those were scripted appearances. He has not warmed up multiple times and entered into a game. So he got up to start the 2nd inning, and once he's warm, the Yankees want to use him.
All right, Tom, thanks. As Maglio Ordonez on the first pitch, singles to right. And Ron, Phil Hughes this year, 17 games, 14 starts, those 3 relief appearances, as Joe Girardi was trying to get him prepared to come out of the bullpen, but it has to be an unusual circumstance for him this year anyway.
We see Girardi going out already to either talk to Hughes or make the move, and it looks like he might be making the move.
Got a left-handed hitter coming up in Alex Avila, and Joe Girardi is maneuvering in the 4th inning in the early innings like he would in the middle to late innings. Another pitching change for the Yankees. Logan is coming in to face Avila. We'll take a break. Delman Young and Joe Girardi doing his best Sparky Anderson impression here tonight. 2 innings from Nova, an inning and a 3rd from Phil Hughes, and it's going to be Boone Logan, the lefty out of the bullpen, to face Alex Avila.
Well, you see his numbers from the year, but in the last game on Tuesday, struck out the side in the 9th inning, did Logan.
Well, Girardi will try to get the final 2 outs of this inning from Logan. Bullpen is quiet for the time being with Alex Avila coming up. You've got a right-handed hitter, a power hitter next in Johnny Peralta. Larry Rothschild on the phone. CC Sabathia is available out of the bullpen tonight for the Yankees. Joe Girardi said he doesn't want to use him, but will if he needs to. As Avila pulls one through the hole, a base hit. On the first pitch from Logan, Alex Avila with his first hit of the postseason. And the Tigers with 2 on and 1 out and threatening in the 4th.
I think in this situation right here, he was so tired of swinging and missing at sliders. He said, get first fastball I'm going to see. Here we go.
Yeah,
it's got to feel good.
Anytime you're facing a reliever coming in, he jumped on that first pitch fastball. And you ask Joe Girardi and any manager, when you bring in a relief pitcher, you need him to get that first guy out. Logan not able to.
2 on, 1 away. And it'll be Johnny Peralta. And now a matchup that favors the Tigers. Peralta has a couple of doubles in this series. He is hitless in his career against Boone Logan, just 6 career at-bats. In the air to right, Swisher is on the run. And Ordonez will not test the arm of Nick Swisher, and there is out number 2. Corey Wade in the Yankee bullpen. So Logan with 2 gone, and he'll face the switch hitter Ramon Santiago. Both of Santiago's hits were against left-hander CC Sabathia of this ALDS.
Team's doing a nice job with 2 outs so far with runners in scoring position. No one's been able to deliver that first blow.
Santiago quickly down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes.
Well, when you look at the speed on the bases with Ordonez at second and Vila at first, not a lot of speed. Ordonez slowed by that ankle all season long, so it will give the Yankee outfielders on a base hit a chance to make a play at the plate.
Crowd chanting Boone, trying to get Boone Logan through this 4th inning. 2 on, 2 away. Santiago is a player known for his defense. He's the best defender that the Tigers have. But it was his bat against CC Sabathia that did the damage in Game 3. Boone Logan strikes out Santiago. He strands 2 on. A scoreless inning for the Tigers. Yankees coming up. Are coming up in the bottom of the 4th. TBS October 18th. Attention sports geeks. TBS just got a whole lot smarter. Don't miss the Big Bang Theory, all new to TBS, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights starting October 18th. A couple of big bangs by the Tigers. Back-to-back solo homers by Don Kelly and Delman Young. And they have a 2-0 lead with the Yankees coming up. Pfister is back on the mound. Alex Rodriguez will lead off. Pfister is through 3 innings, giving up a walk and 2 hits thus far. Pfister has 4 Ks as well. He'll face Rodriguez, Teixeira, and Swisher. 4, 5, and 6. Middle of that Yankees order. Able to check his swing, says Bill Welke.
Every time Fister's needed a strike against Rodriguez behind in the count, he's used that cutter away. Rodriguez, when he's at his most dangerous, is hitting that ball the opposite way.
Well, Rodriguez has been able to draw his walks in this series, has 3 walks. Go along with the 2 hits. He's now 2 for 15. Fister struck him out looking in the second inning. In the air, right field line, long run, slicing in the seats. A foul ball, 3-2. The count on Alex Rodriguez. Now, knee surgery for Rodriguez in July, but a thumb injury once he returned has certainly affected his power stroke. A-Rod with just 3 home runs since June 12th. It's been a good portion of that on the disabled list through the month of July and August as he draws the walk. A leadoff walk. Well, moments ago, we caught up with Tigers manager Jim Leyland as it's time to talk, brought to you by Charles Schwab. Well, Jim, we're seeing a lot of early pitching changes from Joe Girardi. How does that affect you on your side of the fence?
Well, there's not much you can do about that. We're not going to change anything unless a big, big situation maybe later on. But, it is what it is. So you just play it the way it is.
Well, for Fister, he's come out and delivered what I call is the tension breaker for you guys. He's come out and looks good early.
Yeah, he's pitched very well early, and he was fortunate enough to tie Robinson Cano up a little bit in that last inning. He just missed. He got it in there enough, and he just didn't quite get it.
And we appreciate Jim Leyland joining us between innings. As Teixeira at the plate, fouls one back. Mark Teixeira down 0-2. And speaking of pitching changes, there's another one upcoming for the New York Yankees, and this crowd is humming right now because the big man is up and loosening. CC Sabathia will enter this game in the 5th inning.
He's just getting a side session in.
In front of 45,000.
Yeah, they're thinking positive for the next round.
Now Boone Logan gets the final 2 outs of the 4th. Sabathia is loosening as if he's ready to start a clean inning with the top of the order coming up, which is what the Tigers will have in the 5th.
Well, the most interesting part of CC being up, though, is that Jim Leyland and the Tigers have decided that Justin Verlander will not pitch in this game. He threw a side session today of 56 pitches, not available. I find that very surprising. 1, that he threw a side session, and 2, that you would let the Yankees know that Verlander is not going to be available.
He was pitching on the bullpen mound in plain sight, and Verlander taken off the list by his manager Jim Leyland, and Jim Leyland is sticking to his guns, John. He will hear nothing of returning Justin Verlander in a game like this. The next time he'll pitch will either be next year or in the first game of the ALCS.
It's one of those where you can understand both sides of them. It's a discussion that won't go away one way or the other.
You get a feeling, though, if he threw 56 pitches in a side session, could have maybe thrown 25 in this game.
Yeah, in fairness to I agree with you. I mean, in fairness to a side session, you don't put in the effort nearly that you would in a regular season, or especially a postseason game. CC's done it so many times and pitched on 3 days rest there for forever there for Milwaukee. So he feels comfortable. His manager trusts him, trusts that he feels good, and he just might be able to eat up enough innings to get to the rest of the bullpen.
2-2 on Teixeira. And a fly ball left field. Delvin Young coming in. And he'll make the call. Calls Kelly off for out number 1. Teixeira retired, 1 away with a runner at first. And it'll be Nick Swisher.
You know, guys, Fister has been good, but he's gotten away with about a half dozen pitches right down the middle so far. Yankees have not taken advantage.
Teixeira had 1 of the 2 hits against Doug Fister. That was a double back in the 2nd inning. He's given up 2 hits, 2 walks, sitting on 4 strikeouts as he faces Nick Swisher.
Arguably one of the most excitable guys on the Yankees. He needs an exciting moment right here to get the Yankees back into it. This guy plays with a lot of emotion, free-spirited, but it helps to get a few more hits to get that going as well.
And Swisher into right center. That's down, a base hit. So the Yankees with 2 on now and 1 away. And that has the Tiger skipper pacing. You just wonder, just see Sabathia's presence in that bullpen. You know what kind of impact it could have on the game off the mound, but how about offensively for the Yankees as they bat in this inning, knowing they've got Sabathia loosening in the bullpen?
It's almost inspirational, isn't it, to have your big man out there willing to pitch in relief.
It would be Sabathia's first relief appearance of his major league career, if he in fact comes into this game. Jorge Posada, 2 on, 1 away. Posada was a strikeout victim his last time up. Pfister got him on a called strike 3. A sinker ball, ground ball specialist who could use one here. What's interesting about Doug Pfister, you just figure ground balls are a big part of his game, which they are, but no double plays turned behind him in his last 9 starts. In his last 9 games, including that relief appearance in game 1.
Thing that makes it even more difficult, you're not holding Swisher on at first base. This is the time of year when you get a big lead and you knock the second baseman and shortstop into the outfield.
Cabrera playing behind Swisher, trying to cover that hole. And Alex Avila, beautiful block, keeps the runners at first and second. All in 2 strikes. This has been a catching clinic in this series with Avila and Russell Martin. So impressive.
Well, they talk about catchers smothering the baseball, and that's what Avila did right there. A tough pitch, that curveball down and in, caught it right in the middle of his chest protector.
Avila has only been catching since 2008 when he converted in college at Alabama. It's amazing that he is so skilled behind the plate. Gives a lot of credit to Mike Rojas, who is the bullpen coach for the Tigers. And the brother of Victor Rojas, our colleague calling the Diamondbacks and the Brewers series.
Well, I got to say this, for his defensive skills that you guys have talked about, unless I'm missing something, he's on page with a lot of his starters. It doesn't seem like there's been a game filled with a lot of shakeoffs. He's really commanding and understanding what his pitchers like to do and finding the best pitch for the right situation. It helps a pitcher's rhythm when you don't have to stay out there all day thinking about shaking off.
Posada, center field, a base hit. Rodriguez got a great jump, but he'll be held around third. And a throw to third. Rodriguez is back, taking no chances. And the bases are loaded with 1 out.
Well, you're right, Brian. He did get a great jump, but that was a 1-hop BB by Posada to Jackson. Supposed to be inside, catches the outside part of the plate. Jackson with the good charge, and of all the outfielders for the Detroit Tigers, he by far has the best arm.
Pitch location gets him again, and I'll tell you what, credit to A-Rod. He was running as if he was going to score and picked up the third base coach late.
Posada wanted that RBI. Rob Thompson being conservative. Jeff Jones, the Tiger pitching coach, trying to give Pfister a breather. Here's the other part of the reliever story today. Max Scherzer. All this talk about Justin Verlander, and Jim Leyland was quick to point out that it is Max Scherzer who might be the guy out of the starting rotation. The left-hander is Phil Koch.
This is an at-bat where they have been pounding Martin in all series. He's been hitting a lot of balls. He could hit a ball to third base, pull the ball, but that location that we've seen him be so good, meaning Pfister, has been a little bit off the last few pitches.
What a spot here. Fourth inning. Tigers lead 2-0. Russell Martin with the bases loaded. Just one out. And Pfister starts him with a strike.
There's that pitch right there. Again, you got to stay on top. A little anxious. Getting to the side of it, pulls the sinker. It's not going to be a good pitch when you pull it. You've got to stay behind it. This is the tension. This is what this series and this game can create. You've got to be able to make this pitch in to get Martin out.
Martin pops it up. Cabrera is over, as is Santiago, and it is Cabrera who makes a catch. Infield fly rule called. And there is a big out for Doug Pfister and the Tigers. Out number 2. Base is still loaded. And Pfister will match up against Brett Gardner. Remember, Leyland has Phil Koch in the bullpen, the left-hander. Does he let it ride with his starter?
Can Gardner come through again with 2 outs?
I'd almost have to pitch him backwards and maybe go off speed early, hard late. So far, the off speed late has allowed Gardner to stay right up the middle with that pitch. Only runs scored today have been via the home run. So with runners on base, no one's been able to come up with a big hit. Everybody in this park is just waiting for that big hit to carry that emotion and score some runs and then bring in CC.
Brett Gardner has 4 RBIs this series with 2 outs. Had a hit against Pfister his last time up in the 3rd inning.
Jim Leyland will describe, and Gardner said he's the definition of pesky.
He's been one of the Yankees' best hitters in this series. In a big spot, bases loaded, and Gardner takes a strike. Count evens at a ball and a strike on Brett Gardner.
Pfister knows if he gets out of this, he's given a few more innings to pitch with. More than likely, if he doesn't get out of this, it's going to turn into an all bullpen game.
Now Vila wants to start over with the signals.
Again, a regular season game, there would be nobody up in the bullpen. Starting pitcher understands his role to get out of this with 1 run or less. But here he's thinking 0.
Falls behind, 2-1. The grand slam home run has been a big part of this postseason. A couple of Arizona Diamondbacks with grand slams. We saw one here at Yankee Stadium with Robinson Cano. Now Gardner in a hitter's count. And now really in a hitter's count. 3 balls and a strike. Didn't miss by much.
Gardner in these hitters counts a lot more pop than you think.
Just got a piece. Big pitch for Pfister, and now has the count full, 3-2. We talked about Gardner's 4 RBIs. All of them came with 2 outs. The other part of that, Gardner's 4 RBIs, all came with 2 strikes as well.
One of the things you can't do here as a pitcher, and believe me, it's a lot easier said than done. You can't think of the what-if scenarios.
Yeah.
You just got to make one pitch. If it's your last pitch, make it the best one you can. And I think in these situations, affirmation of pitch is more important than anything you can do in this 3-2 count. Even a walk's not at the end of the world. I mean, I know it's still got the 1-run lead. What you'd hate to do is give up that gap shot.
The runners will start with the pitch. And there they go, and Gardner fouls it away. Might have chased one, might have chased ball 4. Too close to take, though.
Well, interesting, John, with Jeter up next. Gardner getting a steady diet of being challenged on this 3-2 count.
It is a 30-pitch inning for Pfister. That's a bit of a danger zone for a pitcher. High-stress pitches as well.
Let your sinker go where it goes. Don't pull it. Throw it down the middle. Let it fade out to the right side of the plate.
Runners go. Gardner in the air. This is playable. Don Kelly, foul territory, and Doug Pfister is out of the inning. A big moment here at Yankee Stadium. The Yanks strand, the bases loaded. We're headed to the 5th. Still 2-0 Tigers. Here in New York as this series returns to the Bronx. A Game 4 win by the Yankees forced Game 5. CC Sabathia is on the mound, pitching out of the bullpen for the first time in his career, and facing Austin Jackson to start this 5th inning. So it started with Nova, who went 2 innings, Phil Hughes an inning and a third, and Boone Logan able to get out of the 4th, and now Sabathia coming out of the bullpen. He's got the top of the order coming up in a 2-0 Tigers lead. Austin Jackson is 0 for 2, and this is the 3rd different pitcher that he has faced in this game in his first 3 plate appearances. There's a couple of strikeouts. We're going to hear from Joe Girardi in just a bit. Information from Girardi concerning Ivan Nova. And it has turned into a game for the bullpen for the Yankees the rest of the way. And how much can Girardi get out of CC Sabathia tonight?
One of the things I don't know how long CC is going to go, but the one thing I think he could benefit from is his sinker might be a little more effective. Once you've pitched a lot, sometimes you don't have that adrenaline strength, and that velocity is not quite there. That pitch right there could be very good.
Sabathia went 5 1/3 in his start on Monday night, gave up 4 runs.
See on pitch tracks that pitch just away. 6 walks though in that start for CC.
Jackson breaks his bat. That's going to get down, a base hit. And the speedy Jackson around first, and he's on his way to second. Gardner's throw is late. A hustle double by Austin Jackson as the Tigers have a man at second base. And moments ago we heard from Joe Girardi as it's time to talk, brought to you by Charles Schwab. Well, Joe, going to the bullpen early today, just give us those thoughts, and now CC Sabathia in the ball game.
Yeah, Nova tightened up a little bit, so that's why we had to take him out. And now it's a bullpen game, and our guys are going to have to shut him down. And so far, so good. And we've had some opportunities. We just got to capitalize on a few of them.
Yeah, your offense has really worked the count, gotten into good hitting situations, just haven't delivered yet.
We just haven't got that big hit, and we keep giving ourselves opportunities. I think we can do some damage.
Our thanks to Joe Girardi and revealing that Nova tightens up. Didn't give exactly what tightened up, but the fact that he tightened up enough for Joe Girardi to remove him from this game. And we were wondering, now, why would Girardi make that change with Nova having retired 3 in a row to finish the second inning? Looked like he was okay at that point.
Yeah, we were very surprised that he was taken out of that game, but now we know why. And that doesn't bode well for the future here.
Don Kelly with a runner at second, and up there to bunt him over. Pops up the bunt. That is foul. Tigers have a couple of sacrifice bunts in this series, but when it has come to execution for the most part, they haven't been able to get the bunts down. It seems like when they're not getting the bunts down, though, they're having success, in particular at bats.
Well, yes, Santiago got a base hit after trying to bunt. Jackson got a base hit. And remember, it was Kelly that with a drag bunt got a hit off CC Sabathia.
Squares again. And a ball and 2 strikes.
Something you don't see very often in the American League. 2-strike bunt.
Kelly struggles against left-handed pitching. Leland ordered him to bunt the other night on Monday. And he bunted for a hit, pushed it right past the mound. Sabathia falling off toward third base. And he lays off. If you like your managerial strategy, that was a masterful inning on Monday night for Jim Leland, as he had brought Kelly in defensively, knowing Kelly would lead off. There would be 2 lefties in the first 3 batters against Sabathia, which encouraged Joe Girardi to send Sabathia back out to the mound, and that turned out to be the big inning for the Tigers in that victory in Game 3. Not bunting this time, and he takes ball 3, full count on Kelly.
Looked like a pretty good pitch, but you can see Martin sit on the outside corner. That ball really crossed on the inside corner.
And just know that the pitch tracks, it's where it crosses the plane of the plate, not where the catcher catches it. Kelly, against left-handed pitching this year, hit just 190. Swing and a miss. Sabathia strikes him out. 1 gone in the 5th inning.
Well, right here is just a product of not really feeling comfortable with the strike zone. That pitch sails way outside. Kelly trying to do a little too much maybe there, and another opportunity to get a runner over in scoring position. Execution this time of the year is so important. That little things that you do to help your team win go a long way.
Here is Delman Young. First ball swinging. A little flare to Shera. We'll watch it bounce foul. The free swinging Delman Young, who has hit 3 home runs in this ALDS. That sets a franchise record, the most all-time for a Tiger in 1 postseason series. 3 home runs. And Young is 2 for 2 today. His home run in the first inning made it 2-0 Tigers. Delman Young homered against Sabathia in Game 1 on Friday night before the rains came, and suspended that game. It was a first inning home run by Delman Young. And that one's hit in the air to right, slicing foul in the seats. The Tigers with the first stake of the series. Delman Young with 2 outs in the first inning on Friday night. A line drive missile into the bleachers in right field, and that's how it got started for the Tigers offensively in this series. Yankees would win that game 9-3.
Well, for Nova, getting word that a tight forearm. Can't say that you don't blame him. It can happen to anybody, but throwing those sliders might be part of the reason why he wasn't able to get good finish on it, Ron. Who knows? But the tightness, you don't take any chances.
Young, a swing and a miss. Martin still has to secure it at first, does so, and he keeps Jackson at second base. So Sabathia with back-to-back strikeouts in the 5th. 2 gone with a runner at second, and it'll be Miguel Cabrera.
That start in Detroit, CC had a hard time getting any of the hitters to go out of the strike zone. Having a little more success so far in this inning.
Well, the Yankees will go ahead and walk Miguel Cabrera. Got a base open at first base. A familiar move for Cabrera, the league's leading hitter this year in the American League. But it is a terrific 1-2 punch for the Tigers with Cabrera and Victor Martinez. Normally you see 2 hitters like this hitting 3rd and 4th, but in Leland's lineup it's 4th and 5th. Both Cabrera and Martinez driving in over 100 runs this season. And Cabrera draws the free pass, 1st and 2nd for Victor Martinez.
Earlier in the series, we said when Cabrera is walked, Victor Martinez is hitting 343 when Cabrera is walked. So he's come through more often than not when they're trying to pitch around Cabrera.
See his numbers against Sabathia. Martinez used to be Sabathia's battery mate with the Cleveland Indians. He knows him well, but 6 hits lifetime against him. The switch hitting Victor Martinez. And that one's into center field, a base hit. Jackson around 3rd, and he will score easily. Granderson bobbles, Jackson scores. The Tigers add to it. Victor Martinez with an RBI single. A 2-out run producing hit, and it's 3-0 Tigers.
This pitch is supposed to be down. It's right down the middle, and he just stays right up the middle, Ron, with a great stroke and an in-between hop to Granderson, allowed the run to score, as you see right here.
Well, a lot of times you can get away with that first pitch curveball. Martinez, though, such an accomplished hitter, hit that bullet up the middle. Granderson not able to come up with that. Probably would not have had a play on the speedy Jackson anyway.
Larry Rothschild back to the phone. Sabathia has come on. He struck out 2, but he has issued 2 hits. And now a run is Maglio Ordonez on a half swing, able to check it, says Bill Welke.
Well, for a series that started in an odd way, this game is not what either one of us thought was going to happen as far as the amount of pitchers already by the 5th inning. We knew the bullpen would be a big part of it. But because of Nova's tightness in his arm, it really forced Joe's hand to exhaust every option possible.
Well, think about the momentum swing from the bottom of the 4th here to the top of the 5th. The Yankees are sitting there with the bases loaded and 1 out, and they cannot score. Now the Tigers have come right back against Sabathia and have delivered a run and threatening for more with 2 on and 2 away.
Tigers now 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position.
Well, before this series started, they wanted CC Sabathia to appear in this series twice, and he has. Neither of them have been successful. 3 times, really, if you count that first start.
Now Martin, knowing this is a big pitch coming up with 2 on, wanted to get it straight with Sabathia. CeCe reaching back there, a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Goes with the hard slider. If he gets it down, Ordonez typically to swing over the top of it, but it's got to be down.
And a swing and a miss. Sabathia is out of the inning, but the Tigers tack on a run. An RBI single by Victor Martinez, and it's 3-0 Detroit. 5, and a reminder to celebrate America's Game with Chevrolet. Upload a picture of your youth player, and you could win tickets to the 2011 postseason among hundreds of other MLB prizes. Be a part of the Chevy Centennial celebration and enter for a chance to win at ChevyBaseball.com. Detroit with 2 in the first. Back-to-back solo home runs, Don Kelly and Delman Young. And then a run in the 5th. Kelly is now in right field. Brandon Inge will take over at third base. And Jim Leland has his best defensive unit on the field now. 3-0 Tigers. Yankees coming up, bottom of the 5th. Doug Fister back out there to start his 5th inning of work. And the 3rd time through the batting order as Jeter rolls one to Inge. Right away he spotted and makes the play for out number 1. As we check in with Matt Weiner in our Atlanta studios. Matt.
All right, Brian, time for a game break.
It's a great moment. The first no-hitter in the postseason since Don Larson had the perfect game for the Yankees. And what a matchup tomorrow with former Cy Young Award winners Roy Halladay and Chris Carpenter, former teammates with the Blue Jays. As Greg Anderson takes a strike. John and Ron are headed to Philadelphia. I think they're walking there after the game, as a matter of fact. Might be able to spot them. And they'll be on the air with Dick Stockton. And great day of baseball tomorrow. Game 5s in the National League as Granderson sends one out to Delman Young. Fister has come back. 2 quick outs.
Well, this was a huge inning for not only Fister and the Tigers, as they've got guys in the bullpen ready to get him out of any trouble that would have occurred in this inning. And I know that sounds redundant. Every inning is huge, but I think there comes a point where you know the top of the lineup was up for the Yankees, and in one pitch you got that collective relief. You got 1 out in 1 pitch. Nothing better for a pitcher to get a quick pitch out in the midst of a tough game.
Now Fister facing Robinson Cano. Got to give Fister a lot of credit. He has made some big pitches when he's needed to. He was facing Cano with 2 on in the 3rd inning. Had a jam shot pop up from him. And then he retired Martin and Gardner with the bases loaded in the 4th. He has left some runners on base tonight, has Fister.
Well, as we saw in the first time we saw him pitch in the series, he goes to every quadrant. He really does. He doesn't have to buzz a hitter in and out. He really uses all his pitches to have the effectiveness to where the hitter's eyes are constantly moving.
Well, he seems to have that nice, easy motion, that languid motion, that ball seems to get on the hitters very quickly.
Fister has held the Yankees to just 1 hit with a runner in scoring position, 1 for 6. Yankees were not able to score in that scenario. That was the base hit by Posada. Cano lines one foul down the left field line. At this point, the Yankees have stranded 6 in the game, 4 in scoring position so far tonight.
Well, the problem in this game, if you're a Tigers fan, is no lead is safe enough. Even though your team's been outstanding after the 8th inning, you see what the Yankees can do at any time, putting a crooked number on the board, and they put 2 big ones already in this series.
Yeah, 2 6-run innings for the Yankees already. As Cano rips one deep right, there it goes. Robinson Cano with his 2nd home run of the series. The Yankees are on the board. A no-doubter from Cano.
said before that he was pitching in off the plate and then going away with that changeup. This one, a cutter inside, does not get inside, and Cano with that quick bat delivers.
Just another 2-out RBI.
Ball makes a different sound when it leaves his bat, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now 9 RBIs. His 8th career postseason home run. Rodriguez back up the middle. Right there is Santiago. An outstanding play to end the inning. Santiago ranging far to his right. Pfister is through the 5th. Cano gets them on their feet at Yankee Stadium. Yankees are on the board thanks to Robinson Cano. Are brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. And catch Conan tonight with Ryan Reynolds after MLB postseason coverage only on TBS. Robbie Cano with a home run to put the Yankees on the board for the first time. Doug Pfister giving up his first run in the 5th inning. 3-1 Detroit. Cano now with 9 runs batted in, and they have all come with 2 outs in this series. Sabathia back to work facing Alex Avila. 2nd inning of relief work for CC Sabathia, giving up a run on 2 hits in the 5th.
A strange game for the Tigers offense. They put up the 3 runs, they've got a couple home runs, but they've also struck out 9 times in this game. That might be from just all the different pitchers the Yankees have used early in this game.
Sabathia is the 4th hurler for the Yankees. Started with Nova, then Hughes, and then Boone Logan. And if you're just joining us, Joe Girardi offering the fact that Nova was taken out after 2 innings because of tightness, and then we later found out it was forearm tightness for the Yankee starter. Girardi said before the game he did not want to use Sabathia, but would if he needed to, and he certainly needed to with Nova going out. Close pitch, and remember, this Fox tracks, or this tracks, I beg your pardon, on the pitch tracks is a close proximity of these pitches. It's where it crosses the front plane of the plate.
Yeah, and it's not as accurate. It's impossible to be super accurate. That's why you're seeing it with those spots right there. And remember that the angle from center field is not quite perfect either.
As Avila strikes out, Sabathia, all 4 of his outs are strikeouts as we check in with Tom Verducci.
And seeing CC Sabathia come into the game for a lot of Yankee fans must have seemed like deja vu all over again. Go back to 2003 ALCS Game 7. A Yankee starter who had never pitched in relief, Mike Mussina, entered that game with the team trailing 4-0. Gave the Yankees 3 shutout innings, held that game in check, and that game turned out to be the last time the Yankees won a sudden death game.
Good stuff, and now Sabathia trying to do the same, and a shaky start for him here tonight, but the Yankees do get the run back with that Cano home run. Largest deficit, 4 runs back in that 03 ALCS. Johnny Peralta with 1 away. He is 0 for 2 tonight. Second lefty he's faced. He matched up against Boone Logan his last time up.
Pfister with a smile and lots of conversation, almost gives you the feeling that that's it for him.
Two and 2 on Johnny Peralta. We saw Max Scherzer in the bullpen, who has experience coming out of the bullpen. He was the starter in Game 2 and the winner in Game 2.
Well, the one issue that Joe has moving forward in this game being close is you got to make sure. I mean, obviously you want all your top guys you can to pitch in this game and keep it close, but inevitably, if the game gets tied and it goes extra innings, then you start running that risk of not having the guys you want in the right order. But at this point, you got to get it tied first.
As Peralta draws the walk. It's the second walk issued by Sabathia. The first one to Cabrera was an intentional walk. And here comes Joe Girardi. Rafael Soriano in the bullpen for the Yankees, and Girardi will take the ball from the big lefty. So back to the bullpen. Girardi trying to piece this one together as best he can. It's going to be Soriano with a man on and one away in the top of the sixth. We'll take a break. Pressure mounting with each passing inning. Brian Anderson, Ron Darling, John Smoltz, and what a day for the Yankees now as they have to go to their bullpen early. Ivan Nova, Ron, forearm tightness, forcing Joe Girardi into that pen quickly tonight.
Yeah, and he's had to bring in CC Sabathia, who now is replaced by Soriano, so they're really going quickly through their bullpen, and really the advantage with the lead for Detroit because they can go to their good relief pitching late in this game.
Back to the pen goes Girardi with Rafael Soriano, and starting to wonder what is the way to the finish line for both teams. Obviously the Tigers are in the driver's seat here with a lead and a man on here in this sixth inning. The numbers for Soriano normally doesn't appear in a ball game until the seventh inning. Began the year as the setup man for the Yankees.
Well, we knew there wouldn't be a lot of innings pitched out of the starting rotation, but never could Joe see that it was only going to be 2 innings out of his starter. And so this is really the formula that they've got left. And for the Yankees, they have to put more pressure and continue to put pressure on whatever pitchers come in for the Tigers.
Runner takes off and a fly ball left field line. Gardner gives it a look and it's in the seats.
Because this game is only 3-1, and there's going to be some guys that feel some uncomfortable situations that cause the pitch to not go where they want to. And this Yankee team is too powerful and has too many weapons. If they get back into a situation where they get runners on base, they're eventually going to make it happen.
Most of the offensive managing, though, has been done by Jim Leyland, who has his team sacrifice bunting right there, hit and running, stolen some bases.
Rafael Soriano was very good on Tuesday night. Part of that Yankee 10-1 win. He came in prior to the Yankees unloaded in the 8th inning. Took him just 9 pitches to retire 4 Tigers. Runner goes again. Cano stays home to Jeter, and they'll turn 2. Inning over. A double play for the Yankees. They're coming up bottom of the 6th inning, down a pair. And it is getting late here for the Yankees. Tigers up 3-1. An explosive offense with the Yankees, and now Jim Leyland is going to roll out Max Scherzer, who has had a lot of success against New York. Matter of fact, has 2 wins against the Yankees this year at Yankee Stadium. See his game 2 numbers: 6 innings, no runs. He only gave up 2 hits, and it's Scherzer out of the bullpen. Mark Teixeira will lead off.
He also has a 14-inning scoreless streak against the Yankees. Scherzer, who in his rookie season appeared in 9 games in relief, but has not pitched in relief in the last 3 seasons.
Last time he pitched out of the bullpen, he was a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he was a part of that 3-team, 7-player deal that involved Granderson. From the Diamondbacks to the Tigers, Scherzer. Another big piece in that trade will get the ball for the Arizona Diamondbacks tomorrow in Milwaukee, Ian Kennedy. So all 3 teams benefiting from that trade. They're all in the postseason this year. Granderson has certainly made his impact on this series.
For Scherzer, that's the pitch right there that was really, really good for him earlier. The slider was not so much. But the changeup, his arm angle, the way he releases it and actually kind of turns it over, complements a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that sometimes the hitter doesn't know exactly where it's going.
Now, yesterday, Jim Leyland, the Tigers manager, saying his recipe to the ALCS would be Pfister to Koch maybe, and then Benoit and Valverde. And now he's added Max Scherzer to the mix in the 6th inning against the Yankees. Pfister goes 5, gives up 1 run on 5 hits, able to strand a lot of runners on base here tonight. Only the Robbie Cano home run, the lone blemish on Doug Pfister's line.
Get this changeup down.
Count goes full.
I think this is a dangerous choice for Jim Leyland. Max Scherzer, we talked about his great success that he had in game 2, but out of your routine when you come in to relieve.
And there's the hard-throwing left-hander Phil Koch, another member of that trade. He would be next. Yankees have a run of switch hitters coming up, beginning with Teixeira. In the air, center field. Austin Jackson is back at the track. He's got it for the out. Teixeira just missed it. And a long, loud out for Mark Teixeira. That sends Jim Leyland back into the clubhouse for a deep breath. One away for Scherzer. It'll be Nick Swisher.
Again, these two guys that are pitching well now here out of relief, you're normally thinking about getting through a lineup 2 and 3 times. It's one of those rare times I just got to get 3 outs. 3. If I go back out there again, I'll worry about the 4th one.
There you go.
I feel the need to explain that, you know, a lot of people at home going, oh, how hard is it to get 3 outs? Let me tell you, it's hard, especially in Yankee Stadium when there's so much riding on it. And you have to think about those pitches that you're making to these hitters.
And in an elimination game, game 5, a series that is all tied at 2 apiece. This series ends tonight. The winner advances a matchup with the Texas Rangers in the ALCS. And the loser is headed home and set their sights on next year. Scherzer can crank it up there with the best of them, a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And he's able to let it go here in a relief appearance, knowing his outing will be a short one. Swisher on a hop to Peralta. And there is out number 2.
In this series, the Yankees are the only team that knows what's going to happen if they win. They get to stay here. Detroit's got their bags packed to try and go somewhere other than back home. And of course, Texas is sitting there waiting to see if they're going to start their series at home or have to get their bags packed.
The Yankees had the best record in the American League, so they have the home field advantage throughout the American League portion of this postseason if they stay alive. The World Series this year, the home field advantage belongs to the National League after a National League win at the All-Star game in Phoenix. 2 outs. Here is Posada.
Posada, who's had a great series for the Yankees. You see him up there with that tarnished helmet, no batting gloves. Just kind of wonder if we'll see that again.
And he sneaks one past Brandon Inge. Another hit for Posada, his second of the game. He has 6 hits in this series. And he keeps the Yankees alive in the 6th inning.
Great hitting, especially off the Scherzer, who throws most of his pitches away, John, just going with that pitch.
Now Russell Martin with 2 away. Suddenly the Yankees bring the tying run to the plate. During the regular season, Russell Martin hit 18 home runs. See his numbers lifetime against Max Scherzer, 3 for 16.
Thought that was a great first pitch. Gutsy changeup right there. Took it for a strike. Makes that 96-mile-an-hour fastball look like 100. Now he's trying to get the attention of Cabrera to kind of halfway on a late swing, possibly off a fastball. He could protect that side of the infield.
Well, if there's any Achilles heel for the season that Max Scherzer had, 29 home runs allowed, 14 of them with a man on. That was second most in the American League.
Right there is a perfect example. Some adrenaline trying to throw that pitch as hard as you can. He doesn't have, as we talked about earlier, the most prolific mechanics where he's going to land like a traditional pitcher. So he's just saying, here it is. I'm going to throw it as hard as I can. But it's really important that it gets in that location more than it's 99 miles an hour.
Ball and 2 strikes on Martin. And a swing and a miss. A defensive hack by Russell Martin. Max Scherzer with a scoreless 6th. Picks up a strikeout. To the 7th we go. Tigers still on top. Tomorrow with a pair of National League Division Series Game 5s. Coverage begins on TBS 4:30 p.m. Eastern with MLB On Deck presented by Chrysler. You got the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Milwaukee Brewers. 5 o'clock, St. Louis and Philadelphia, 8:30 Eastern, followed by Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan. 3 Game 5s of the 4 possible in the division series this year. We're setting up for some great theater. 3-1 Tigers. They're trying to advance to the ALCS. Do the Yankees have a comeback in them? Girardi seems to have bridged that gap now. He has surrendered 3 runs with his relievers, but he has finally gotten it to the late innings, and Soriano is on the mound. His 2nd inning of work. Managed to get a double play from Santiago in the 6th inning. Some outstanding pitching matchups tomorrow. Giovanni Gallardo against Ian Kennedy in the Brewers D-back series, and then Chris Carpenter and Roy Halladay matching up in the Phillies Cardinals series.
I'd say, what do you think, 4 innings out of those guys?
No way.
Total?
Starting, yeah, total.
Be a much different tone than how we hit the air tonight.
That's right.
Those are horses, and that's going to be fun to watch. That is going to be fun.
Aces matching up for all 4 clubs. Ball and 2 strikes on Austin Jackson. That's what was so interesting about tonight's Game 5. Because of the suspended game on Friday night, we didn't have a Game 5 matchup between aces. It wasn't Verlander and Sabathia. It was the number 2 starters that began this game, Doug Fister and Ivan Nova. A swing and a miss. Martin dropped the baseball, and there's the strikeout. Soriano with 1 away in the 7th. Well, we're keeping an eye on Justin Verlander between innings. Jim Leyland, no telling. I don't think Justin Verlander can trust Jim Leyland at this point after the prank he pulled on him before the game.
Well, yeah, exactly. Jimmy's checking his ticker to go with Verlander's. And still politicking as Justin to try to get in this game.
Well, I thought it was a great moment for the manager to, even as tense as this game is, to have the foresight to pull a prank on his horse starter, and he did a good. He finally got him. He was proud of it. Real proud of it.
Justin Verlander threw a bullpen session, a side session today, preparing for his next start as Don Kelly takes a ball. And as he was coming off, and it was a scheduled side session, everybody thought it was in place. Jim Leyland says, "Okay, I may need you tonight." And Verlander said, "No, what are you talking about? I just threw a side session." He goes, No. Leyland said, "I just told the pitching coach, Jeff Jones, not to let you throw tonight. We need you tonight." And he kept it going for a little bit. Had Verlander thinking about it, but then he finally let him off the hook. He said, "No, we'll see you in the ALCS, Justin."
And Jim said he's fully prepared to take whatever comes with it in the decision that he made.
Don Kelly down on the count. And did he go? Yes, he did, says Eric Cooper, unable to check it. And it is back-to-back strikeouts for Rafael Soriano.
Well, that looked like a little change up there from Soriano that got Kelly. Very close play there, whether he swung or not.
Soriano gave up a home run to Delmon Young in Game 3. That was the deciding run for the Tigers in Game 3, but has been sharp since. Retired 4 in a row on Tuesday as Young takes one off the plate, and this was the home run, the eventual game winner for the Tigers. Opposite field smash on the first pitch from Delmon Young. It's a 5-4 Tiger win.
Well, the Yankee bullpen has been as good as advertised, keeping this game right where it needs to be for them to get a few runs to get back into it. But rare do you see series that the Yankees play in where Mariano, to this point, not a factor.
Yeah. Came in that one game, struck out Wilson Betemit on 3 pitches with the bases loaded.
9-3 at this time, the score.
Yep.
Popped him up. Cano makes a call, and the catch. And the side is retired. Stretch time here in New York. And we turn it over to Yankee Stadium. Tigers lead 3-1. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Yankees are coming up. And make sure to catch 24/7 Pacquiao Marquez, coming only to HBO. Detroit with a couple of runs in the first. Solo home runs from Don Kelly and Delmon Young. They added a run on an RBI single by Victor Martinez in the 5th. Right now we're going to have a little bit of a delay because there is no left fielder. Ryan Rayburn is finally on his way out there, and let's check in with Tom Verducci. What happened to Delmon Young?
Well, Delmon Young did take his position in the field, but immediately began jogging off the field, holding his left side. As you can see there, attended by Kevin Rand, the trainer. They took him inside immediately, and now obviously the need for the defensive replacement.
So it's going to be Ryan Rayburn who will take over in left field. Well, the Tigers, they upgrade defensively, but that's a big bat out of this lineup now. Thank you, Tom.
Well, what usually happens in baseball, you go into a new position and the ball will find you right away. Let's see if that holds true here.
Max Scherzer back on the mound, trying to give Leland and the Tigers 6 outs to get them to their late relievers, Benoit and Valverde. Brett Gardner leads off for New York. Yankees down to their last 9 outs. Have Gardner, Jeter, and Granderson coming up here in the 7th.
1-0 count here, 2 runs down. Gardner's got to take a pitch here. Get on base any way he can.
It's rare a guy throws a baseball with as much head movement after you release the baseball and command it. I mean, he's done a nice job. He throws the ball from different angles, and it's got some good velocity, but his head really snaps down when he releases the ball. Safe to say you got to throw BP right here and try to get 3 pitches right down the middle.
Right. Well, you knew this was going to be a big inning. Somehow got to find the bridge to their late inning relievers.
Joaquin Benoit, the Tigers setup man. He's a guy that Leland would use in multiple innings. Has already had a 2-inning outing in this series. Back on Sunday in game 2. And there is strike 2. Scherzer gets himself back in the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Brett Gardner.
You can see the difference. I mean, 93, throwing it right down the middle. That's what you got to do. Don't do anything different on 3-2. Don't allow him to get on first base to create tension for you, for him to steal a base and make the other hitters behind him even better.
A swing and a miss. Gardner strikes out. Scherzer comes all the way back, down 3-0 to get the punch out, his second K.
Shows you what kind of live arm he has. 3-0 count, can throw 3 straight fastballs. The final one past Gardner.
It also shows you when you slow down the mechanics and don't try to be so violent with your pitches, which is easy to do, okay, that you can really accomplish your goal with the pitch in the right position.
Here is Derek Jeter. 0 for 3 tonight. Jeter now 5 for 22 in this series. And a strike. Scherzer gets ahead of him. Max Scherzer, game 2 winner. It was the starter, went 6+ in that game. Only 2 hits, no runs. Won a game for the Tigers here at Yankee Stadium in game 2.
I'm going to tell you, not many pitchers in the game have the guts to throw an inside changeup to right-handed hitters. It was never even a thought a long time ago, and more pitchers are doing it. It looks like his fastball coming in. The hitter's trying to get the head out to try to pull the ball, and the ball doesn't get there.
Starts on the same plane, 10 miles an hour difference.
Jeter down the right field line. Kelly had him played over there, and that'll slice into the seats. Count stays at no balls, 2 strikes.
And Ron, the key to that type pitch, for people who don't understand how it's not recognizable, it's the arm angle and the release point has to be identical. Yeah. It's the grip that takes the miles per hour off the pitch. Everything else looks the same, so that's what the hitter is reacting off of. That would be the one pitch he can upgrade for his maturation as he moves on, because that slider and that angle that we talked about is good for the changeup, not so good for the slider. The cement mixture, and the ball has to have friction to be able to turn left.
Scherzer broke in with the Diamondbacks in 08 as a reliever. Had one of the more impressive major league debuts in 2008 when he pitched 4 1/3 perfect innings in his major league debut, striking out 7. Hasn't pitched in relief since that season until now in game 5 of this ALDS. He hasn't pitched out of the bullpen since August 31st of 2008.
Well, it doesn't look like he's forgotten how to. Very impressive so far.
Letting it fly. Jeter taking his time. Scherzer has had his fastball as high as 98 in this game.
You know, when you're watching these games, there's certain players that you're watching, you say, boy, he's a really good player. Alex Avila, the catcher, has done a nice job this series. He hasn't had the offensive series he would like, but he hasn't taken it behind the plate.
On the ground. That'll be Peralta. Gotta hurry. Jeter beats it down the line. Brandon Inge had a notion to make that play. He probably had the only chance at an out, but he let it go by, and Derek Jeter is aboard on an infield hit.
Well, you're right, Brian. Inge did not take the angle that allowed him to get to that baseball. Once Peralta got it and throwing on the run, no chance to get Jeter at first base. You're a shortstop, you kind of run around that, and we've always known Jeter digging hard every single time down the first base line.
So it is Jeter's infield single that sends Jim Leyland to the mound, and that's going to do it for Max Scherzer as the Yankees are going to bring the tying run to the plate. Granderson will bat. Leyland goes to the bullpen. Curtis Granderson, 41 home runs during the regular season. There's one out. Granderson on the ground, foul. Granderson homered against Joaquin Benoit in Game 2. Granderson has 5 home runs, as you see the numbers on Benoit. 5 career postseason homers, all from the 7th inning on. He's hit big homers late. A swing tailor-made for Yankee Stadium. Let's take you back to Game 2. This was Sunday, and it was Granderson shot one into the bleachers in right field. That was an 8th inning home run. It led off the inning, and it was the first run for the Yankees. Tigers had a 4-0 lead at the time.
The home run came on a fastball away. Benoit was very careful with that pitch.
And a strike on Granderson. Jim Leyland does not like to play matchup late in games. He has Benoit and Valverde finishing off games. Even though Koch is the lefty and 2 lefties coming up, it is Benoit who gets the call from Leyland.
If you think you can make an adjustment with that last changeup, you should follow it up right here. Otherwise, you're going to have to paint a fastball away.
Swing and a miss from Granderson. 3-2 the count.
That's the first time in this series we've seen Granderson go out of the strike zone on the little sinking fastball from Benoit.
That'll head for the seats. Count stays at 3-2 on Granderson. The former Tiger saved a game with his glove in Game 4. 2 outstanding catches, perhaps saving as many as 5 runs in that game, certainly 4.
Cabrera holding Jeter on. Big hole between Cabrera and Santiago, the second baseman.
And the payoff pitch, Granderson into right field, a base hit. Jeter around second, will stop there. Granderson delivers with a hit, and the Yankees with 2 on, just 1 out. They have the tying runs aboard, and now the go-ahead run will come to the plate. And their best hitter, Robinson Cano.
Well, he just went with a really good fastball. You could see him reach down. Didn't hit it great, but hit it down in the area for a base hit. Thought Jeter might go to third on that. Not taking any chances, knowing Cano's up. One swing puts you ahead. It's amazing the switches in this game. You think about how great this player is, and if you have any negative thoughts at all on the mound, that ain't a good thing. As good as he is, you still got to know you can get him out if you make your pitches.
Benoit struck out Cano after the Granderson homer in Game 2. And a little tapper. Benoit missed it, and everybody's going to be safe. Joaquin Benoit just whiffed it. It had a lot of spin on it. Cano reaches on an infield hit. They are loaded for the Yankees in the 7th.
Well, the Tigers, who have played errorless ball in this series, a play they don't make could come back to haunt them. That's a play that you've got to make with the pitcher. In fact, Peralta thought he easily had it and went to second base.
Well, Peralta was playing up the middle, so he was the turn guy. Almost impossible for him to come get this ball. He's going to cover to turn, and when the ball gets by, no man's land. And now the guy that they've been pitching to all series, see if he can come up huge for New York.
Alex Rodriguez. Bases loaded, one away. The biggest at-bat of the series right here and now.
At some point, if you're Alex, you got to look middle of the plate in against these Detroit pitchers.
Rodriguez was at the plate in Game 4 with the bases loaded, had a sac fly. Only Lou Gehrig has more Grand Slam home runs in the history of baseball than Alex Rodriguez. He's one behind Gehrig, had 22 in his regular season career. Benoit wants Avila to come out to discuss it.
There wasn't a lot of indecision between Avila and the pitchers early in this game. Some indecision now with Benoit.
Still hesitant, not committed just yet. And Avila on his way back out.
Wow. I tell you, it's too important not to be really sure. And if you need the advice one more time, or you need to set your mind straight, these are the things you cannot have a negative thought. No what ifs.
I think they decided on a pitch, and once Benoit got in the stretch, he changed his mind.
Or maybe he forgot, which is what happened with Sean Markham a couple of days ago in the Diamondbacks Brewers game. Let's see what he has in mind. Swing and a miss. Rodriguez way out in front.
What a great pitch right there. A changeup. Almost looked like a slider, but it's a changeup. Look at the rotation. Earlier in the at-bat, you saw A-Rod kind of tapping his leg, which sometimes means, all right, stay back. Don't get out in front. Don't try to attack. Good pitch selection behind in the count.
Had a good cut, fouls it back, and it's a ball and 2 strikes on Alex Rodriguez.
It's the best swing he's had all series.
Benoit got away with one there. Supposed to be in right down the middle. That's what happens, though, when you make a hitter inconscious. You can get away with a mistake if you're in there enough. If you don't get it in there, that mistake's going to be hit a long ways over the course of a game.
Rodriguez able to lay off. 2-2 on Alex Rodriguez. The Yankees in the fourth inning had the bases loaded and 1 out, and they could not score. They've had a hard time tonight delivering with runners in scoring position. The only run for the Yankees, a Robinson Cano homer in the fifth.
Benoit sits there a long time at the stretch. I'm surprised more hitters haven't called time. You can't re-grip and create that tension in your hands. He takes a long time to deliver a pitch.
And a swing and a miss. Benoit strikes him out. A huge strikeout for Joaquin Benoit.
Well, this is pressure pitching right here at its best. Fastball in conscience. It allows him to go back to the changeup thinking it's a fastball. That's the one pitch he got away with, but because you could pound it in, he did get away with that mistake. And just an awesome changeup. Good arm action, and the location of the changeups that the Yankees have swung and missed have been perfect.
First strikeout for Benoit. 2 outs in the inning. Bases still loaded for Teixeira.
Teixeira's double earlier in the game off Fister was off a changeup. You can see his numbers though against Benoit.
0 for 7 with a walk. Scherzer started this inning, had a strikeout, gave up an infield hit to Jeter, who is now at third base. Tying run at second. Teixeira not biting on that off-speed pitch from Benoit.
You've got 2 dugouts representing. One dugout is going to have an eruption, one way or the other. This is the type of pitch sequence, 2-0. You got the Yankees ready to explode, and I'm sure the Tigers are in the same vein, going to reward their pitcher with a bunch of high fives if he gets out of it.
And it's 3-0 on Teixeira. Now does Mark Teixeira have the green light? Will he be swinging away 3-0?
This is definitely not one of those late 3 in a row in the strike zone situations.
A high strike called by Ted Barrett. 3-1 now for Benoit.
Boy, right at the top of that strike zone. Will he get 2 fastballs in a row?
The Yankees score again, an RBI the easy way for Mark Teixeira. A bases loaded walk, and it is a 1-run game here in the 7th. And that brings Jeff Jones out of that Tiger bullpen.
I tell you, maybe some of the conversation here is, okay, Swisher has been struggling, but I look for him to be real aggressive on this first pitch. Typically when a guy walks somebody, that might not be the case. But Swish is trying to get something going, looking for him to be in attack mode.
Swisher, in fact, has a home run on the first pitch earlier in this series off Valverde. Jeff Jones with multiple trips out to his pitchers this evening.
Obviously, getting a strike with the bases loaded is always an advantage, but you don't want to sacrifice getting a strike to have a bigger deficit. So your first pitch, has got to be down, and whatever you think you can get a swing and miss at.
3 hits, 11 at-bats against Benoit. All 3 hits, home runs against the big right-hander Joaquin Benoit. Tying run now at third base. Go-ahead run is at second. A base hit could possibly give the Yankees the lead here in the bottom of the 7th. And a strike from Benoit. Benoit has come in. He's given up 2 hits and a walk. A big strikeout on Alex Rodriguez for out number 2. Those 3 home runs by Nick Swisher on Benoit have come in his last 6 at-bats, so he has some great memories facing this pitcher down the stretch. Swing and a miss. Out ahead of an off speed from Benoit. 1-2 the count.
Pitches just enough with his fastball to get to his signature pitch, which is that changeup.
Well, the Yankees know they're stacked in their pen, ready to roll if they take the lead with Robertson and then Mariano Rivera. Might even see Rivera in the 8th inning. You never know. Ball and 2 strikes on Swisher. Just missed. He has stayed away from Nick Swisher in this at-bat. 2-2 it goes.
What a pitch to take here, John.
Good discipline here. Might even caught him a little bit guessing that another changeup was coming. Could have froze him had that been just a little closer to the plate.
Huge pitch here, though, for Benoit. 2-2. 2 outs.
And a swing and a miss. Benoit strikes out Nick Swisher. What a big K, and it quiets down this crowd. As the Tigers survive the 7th, they still lead 3-2. 5. The winner moves on to face the Rangers in the American League Championship Series. The loser is headed home, and it is the Tigers that remain in the lead 3-2 as we head to the 8th inning. And it's going to be David Robertson, John, on the pitch. Robertson, and you would think Mariano Rivera, even though the Yankees are down a run here.
Absolutely. And for Joe Girardi, he's done everything you can do to keep the game close, and his offense is scratching back. And for these 2 guys, obviously, it's pretty easy what their game plan is. Turn it over to Rivera. Maybe they can get the lead. Yankees move on.
Well, what a sequence there. Joaquin Benoit retiring Nick Swisher. He struck him out. Strikes out Rodriguez and Swisher with the bases loaded, and for the 2nd time tonight the Yankees lead the bases loaded in this game as Miguel Cabrera takes a ball. Joaquin Benoit walked in a run to make it a 1-run game. Gave up 2 hits, but 2 key strikeouts to end the 7th inning.
The fact that he never gave in with the bases loaded is a big part why they have the lead. A lot of people would have probably tried to get out of that without them giving up a run. Next thing you know, a 3 spots up there. He pitched to the circumstance. They still have a 1-run lead.
Well, dangerous here. Robertson with that cutter, pitching everything away to Cabrera. We saw earlier in this series, Cabrera, tremendous power to right field.
The last time the Yankees stranded the bases loaded, that was the bottom of the 4th. The Tigers came right back and scored a run. They added to their lead at the time, made it 3-0. And Cabrera cut it a miss, might have got a piece of it. 2-2 on Miguel Cabrera, who is hitless tonight. Was intentionally walked his last time up.
I know the radar gun does not read 96, 98 for this guy, although it could, but when he releases the baseball, he's almost a few feet closer the way he throws the baseball.
And a strikeout on Cabrera. David Robertson with one away in the 8th as we send it down to Tom Verducci.
Quick update on Delman Young. He tweaked a left oblique muscle during his at bat in the top of the 7th inning, and as he took his position defensively, just decided he could not continue with it and received treatment on it inside. Back to you.
Well, that was a pop-up to Cano to end that inning. Probably went out there, took a couple of tosses, and couldn't go.
And that is a bad injury. That does not bode well for the next round if the Tigers advance, depending on the severity of it. That's an injury that has knocked players out for a couple of weeks or even a month at a time. So we'll see if Young is going to be able to bounce back if in fact the Tigers advance. And it really comes into play if the Tigers do give up the lead in this game, and then they need that bat coming around in the 9th inning. Victor Martinez with one away. Martinez drove in a 2-out RBI in the 5th inning, had an RBI single. One for 3 tonight.
Difference in the game right now.
That came against CC Sabathia in the 5th inning. If you're just picking us up, Ivan Nova started this game and went 2 innings. He had given up a double in the 2nd inning and then retired the next 3 and then was lifted from the game. We were later told by Joe Girardi that he had some tightness, and then later found out it was forearm tightness. So Girardi has had to piece together this bridge to the late innings, which he has done. The Yankees are still in this, but Girardi using his 6th pitcher in this game already. So far, the Yankees bullpen has given up just 1 run. That was Sabathia giving up that run on the Martinez single in the 5th.
Yankees have had their chances. They put a lot of pressure on the Tigers. It just had not come up with the big hit. Bases loaded a couple times.
Credit the Tigers pitching.
Popped him up. Foul territory. Russell Martin squeezes it for out number 2. Robertson with 2 quick outs here in the 8th inning. Now, meanwhile, for the Tigers, with Benoit making some stressful pitches in the 7th, Jim Leyland still has 6 outs to get, and Jose Valverde, his closer, loosening in the bullpen. The Yankees are at the bottom of their batting order. Jorge Posada, Russell Martin, and Brett Gardner due up.
Well, what that inning did for the Yankees was it reset the lineup so that you're going to see the top of the lineup again in the 9th inning, or maybe in the 8th. But had they got those outs going into the 7th inning, you weren't going to see arguably 2, 3, and 4 hitters. And now that just gives them another chance at it.
Brandon Inge, his first plate appearance, came in defensively after the top of the 5th. And there is Mariano Rivera.
Loosening up with that weighted ball.
Bouncing ball to Derek Jeter. And the side is retired as David Robertson goes 1, 2, 3 through the Tigers batting order. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Bottom of the order for the Yankees. 3-2 Tigers lead the Yankees. Posada will lead it off, and one of our turning points in this game, we take you back to Jorge Posada in the 4th inning with runners at first and second, and a holdup around third base for Rob Thompson.
You know, it was a great jump by Alex Rodriguez, but Thompson wanted to make sure, and he held him up. Good throw in by Austin Jackson, but that could have been the difference in this game. Yankees trail by 1.
Yankees did not score in that 4th inning, as Doug Fister was able to retire Russell Martin and Brett Gardner with the bases loaded and 1 out to finish it. So here is Posada. Posada and what could be his final at-bat as a Yankee. He's 2 for 3 tonight.
You see his numbers, great numbers versus Benoit. Good swing on that first pitch. So Yankees have done most of the damage from the 7th inning on. Detroit scored 4 runs, the Yankees 13.
If Posada's lucky enough to get on via hit or walk, I'm pretty sure there'll be a pinch runner. Try and create something on the bases.
Yankees are a swing away from tying this game up. And it is 0-2 on Jorge Posada. A little bouncer over is Peralta, and he makes the play. Posada is out. Peralta ranging far to his glove side to make that play for out number 1.
Well, the only way he could make that play was shaded up the middle on Posada. On the other side of that bag, throwing on the run, and just nips Posada at first base.
Look how far he is over. Santiago, the second baseman, if he makes the play, has no chance. Only Peralta. He has been very steady in this series, Peralta. 1 gone. And here is Russell Martin.
Hey, Cabrera! Nice haircut! Hey.
Martin had a big chance in the 4th inning at the plate. After Rodriguez was held around third. Martin at the very least trying to get one in the air to the outfield, but it was a pop-up. It was an infield fly roll, as a matter of fact, for out number 2. And it's 0-2 on Russell Martin.
See Avila really trying to coax his pitcher to get the ball on the outside part of the plate, the way he's holding his glove and almost inviting it with a little wiggle there. And that was a great slider after painting a fastball away that he fouled off. One pitch leads to the other.
All these Detroit Tiger pitchers now have to be very careful of thinking about middle of the plate in. They want to stay on the outside part of the strike zone.
They go on with a changeup. And Martin able to lay off. Benoit gave up 2 hits and a walk in the 7th inning, a bases loaded walk to bring in the second Yankees run. Both of the outs were strikeouts, however. And it evens at 2-2.
If you're such a good slider with 1 strike, I'd be surprised if they don't go back here. It was really fooled Martin. They've changed his eyes a couple times. They go back to a slider to finish them on the outside part of the plate.
Yankees have power up and down their lineup. A 1-run game in the 8th inning. And it's ball 3, so Benoit ahead early. 0-2. Now the count is full. Leland will have a big decision to make if the Yankees get a base runner. With his closer in the bullpen, Jose Valverde, who doesn't normally pitch more than an inning. And he got him. Joaquin Benoit strikes out Russell Martin, a bender on a 3-2 pitch. 2 gone in the inning.
And that's just a lot of stress to be putting on a 3-2 pitch. You could have had that 2-2, but you look at this pitch, Ron. 3-2, last thing he's expecting, right over the middle of the plate.
Just a perfect slider from Benoit, middle of the plate. Easy call for Ted Barrett.
3 strikeouts for Joaquin Benoit. Of his 4 outs recorded.
Whenever you come into a series against the Yankees, you invariably end up talking about their bullpen. It'll be the Detroit bullpen if they can hold this lead tonight.
Gene Lamont on the phone to the bullpen. Valverde is ready if needed. And it's going to be Brett Gardner with 2 away. With every out and every strike, this sellout crowd just gets quieter and quieter. The Tigers took him out of it quickly with 2 runs in the first inning, back-to-back homers from Kelly and Delman Young.
79-0 when leading after the 7th inning, including the postseason.
Valverde was the best closer in baseball this year, 49 for 49 in save opportunities.
The Tigers came in here this series with a game plan. You've got to push the hitters back. You've got to make them move a little bit, not get traditional. And one thing their staff has done a good job staying consistent with a game plan. You don't always make the perfect pitch, but you put them on notice. This is how we're going to try to get you out.
One and 2 on Brett Gardner. Tied him up with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that time.
Jim Leyland, when talking about Benoit, said when he first came over, he signed that big contract. He was trying to live up to it early in the season and struggled. But by the end of the season, he was back to the great year he had last year with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Two outs, bottom of the 8th. Yankees down a run. And the 1-2 to Gardner's fouled away. Another fastball. He was late. Doug Fister started, went 5, gave up 1 run. He is in line for the victory. Max Scherzer, an inning and a third. A starting pitcher used out of the bullpen by Leland. Scherzer gave up a run in an inning and a third. And now it's Benoit trying to get the ball to Jose Valverde. And a base hit. Gardner slaps one the other way. His second hit of the ball game. And now the tying run is aboard in the speedy Brett Gardner, back to the top of the order.
Well, this is what Benoit's done. Fastball away from Gardner, who has been so pesky just with 2 strikes, just trying to put the ball in play. And the Tigers not playing on the lines there, but still not able to make that play. You want to prevent doubles. See Inge now on the line against Jeter.
How aggressive will Joe Girardi be with the running game here in Brett Gardner?
hardest things in baseball. Can you steal a base when everyone knows you're trying to?
Gardner takes off, and Jeter lifts one in the air to right. Back is Don Kelly. In front of the wall, he makes the catch for the out. Inning over. Derek Jeter almost put the Yankees on top. Instead, it is Benoit who gives the Tigers 5 huge outs. This game 5 is coming down to the last inning. 3-2 Tigers. They lead the Yankees going to the 9th. And here is the best in the game, brought to you by the Audi A8. Best in the game, Mariano Rivera. Best of all time. See his saves, 42 saves in the postseason for Mariano Rivera. Amazing that he has 95 career postseason appearances.
You couldn't have those numbers if you're playing on a computer game. I mean, they are just tremendous. 96th game of his postseason career.
This is not how the Yankees wanted to see Mariano Rivera in a ball game. Down a run. The Tigers lead at 3-2. And Mariano Rivera, who has made 3 pitches in this postseason. Avila hits the bag, but right there is Teixeira. And 1 pitch, 1 out for Mariano Rivera. Let's take you back to the Jeter fly ball. And Ron, you mentioned it during the break as we see Avila's bounce out.
I don't know how Avila kept this ball fair. Hits the bag, but Teixeira so alert, prepared for that carom, and makes the play. Well, what was interesting about Jeter's fly ball to right field, it was on the first pitch when Gardner was stealing, but when Gardner was on third.
There's a broken bat. Fly ball out to Teixeira. 2 pitches, 2 outs.
Jeter took 2 strikes to try to give Gardner a chance to steal the base. He did not. So this time he was not going to get in the hole, and jumped all over that first fastball. And it just stayed in the ballpark.
Don Kelly was about a step from the wall. That short porch in right center. Jeter narrowly missing a go-ahead home run. And a go-ahead home run in the bottom of the 8th inning for the Yankees usually means a win, with Rivera coming out to save it. That's how close it was for the Tigers.
Granderson, Cano, Rodriguez coming up for the Yankees.
And it'll be Jose Valverde on the mound for Detroit. Santiago takes a strike from Mariano Rivera. Rivera has not thrown a ball in this ALDS.
I don't know about you guys, but he looks a little tired to me.
Slump mechanics.
Just ho hum. He finished the game off with a strikeout in game 1 on Saturday. As Santiago breaks his bat, Alex Rodriguez throws on the run, and that is a 3-up, 3-down inning for Rivera. Nothing but strikes, and the Yankees are down to their last 3 outs. Well, Victor Martinez with an RBI single in the 5th.
Ivan Nova left the game because of forearm stiffness, did not have a good slider. Martinez with a big add-on run there. Yankees made their comeback, starting with Robinson Cano, his 2nd home run of the series, and then a bases loaded walk to Mark Teixeira to force in the 2nd run. Still 1 run short for the Yankees.
And then Benoit with a huge strikeout and a breath holding fly ball to right field by the Tigers as they watch that go into the glove at the wall.
So here is Jose Valverde trying to pick up the save and send the Tigers to the American League Championship Series. Curtis Granderson leads off, and it's swinging away on the first pitch. Valverde was perfect during the regular season. 49 for 49 in save opportunities. Named the best reliever in the American League this year. If you're making a strong case for pitchers winning MVP awards, you could make a case for Jose Valverde. He was flawless this season. Granderson, Cano, and Alex Rodriguez. The Yankees down a run.
In his first 2 outings, less than sharp. He had some weather to deal with in the first game where it wasn't a safe situation. The Yankees brought the tying and winning runs up to the plate. And then in Detroit did what he had to do, battle, didn't have good command. He's had time off. Let's see if he's a little bit closer to where he wants to throw his pitches.
Last pitched on Monday as Granderson looks at one down. 2 balls and a strike on Curtis Granderson.
Valverde, remember, he's the one that said that this series will not come back to New York, and now in charge of the most important outs in this series.
A strike. 2-2 the count on Granderson. This postseason, there has not been a blown save among all teams. And Valverde trying to keep it that way. The Yankees have serious home run power. They're a swing away from tying it up at any moment.
He gets one here, he will have earned it.
Full count on Granderson.
Well, it would be a gutsy pitch if he goes to a split finger right here, 3-2. He's going to go fastball away.
Avila had him shake off once. And Granderson lifts it in the air. Playable left field, Ryan Rayburn. And the Tigers are 2 outs away from advancing. Don't forget, you can stay tuned for Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan. Matt Weiner, Cal Ripken, Dennis Eckersley, and Boomer Wells. They will bring you highlights of tonight's game, some post-game analysis, and of course they'll preview a pair of NLDS Game 5s on the slate for tomorrow. Robinson Cano with 1 away. Cano with 2 hits. His home run put the Yankees on the board in the 5th. Has 2 home runs in this ALDS. And Cano breaks his bat center field, and Jackson is there. 2 gone. First pitch swinging Robinson Cano, and the Yankees are down to their final out of the season.
How about to hit the ball that far and on the line with half a bat? But right back at Valverde. This ball had enough carry on it to get all the way to Austin Jackson.
The Yankee season in the hands of Alex Rodriguez for the moment. Tigers an out away from advancing. The ALCS would begin Saturday. Strike. Valverde gets ahead of him. Rodriguez was at the plate with the bases loaded in the 7th. He struck out. 0 for 3 tonight. Oh, and 2 the count on Rodriguez. And now the Tigers are a strike away from advancing. The Yankees had the best record in the American League.
Well, you'd always like to get your decision right away, but he has a couple pitches he can play with to see if he can get A-Rod to chase something out of the zone. He's already established a low strike.
Ball and 2 strikes. Valverde deals, and a swing and a miss. Valverde strikes out Alex Rodriguez, and the Detroit Tigers are headed to the American League Championship Series. They win on the road again. The Tigers are moving on. A 3-2 thriller at Yankee Stadium tonight.
Well, a stunned crowd here at Yankee Stadium, a celebration here by the Tigers. And the offense for the New York Yankees only able to scrape 2 runs together against this outstanding pitching staff of the Detroit Tigers.
Both teams had a bunch of opportunities to maybe increase the lead, or the Yankees get back, tie the game, and take the lead. Just some clutch pitching by the Detroit Tigers. And truly, Game 5, great game, 3-2. I know it's not the outcome New York fans wanted, but that's a happy group of players that are going to be getting on the plane going to Texas now.
And the fastball just threw it right by Alex. And the little Papa Grande dance.
Now the Detroit Tigers to take on the Texas Rangers in the American League Championship Series. The final out. Satisfied manager in Jim Leyland, and now the Tigers just the 3rd team to ever win 2 straight postseason series against the Yankees. The others, you got to go back to the 21 and 22 New York Giants. The Angels of 02 and 05. It just doesn't happen very often here at Yankee Stadium. But the Tigers have done it, and they are moving on as we check in with Tom Verducci.
Thanks, Brian. I'm here with Don Kelly. Don, a guy you're known for carrying a lot of gloves with you. You play a lot of positions, but tonight it was the bat in the 1st inning. Tell us about the importance of getting on the board right away at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, the crowd's into it at the beginning, and it was just good to get on the board. Delman followed it up with back-to-back home run, but it's big to get out in front early here.
Tell us about that at bat, the pitch that you got, and the swing you put on the ball.
Yeah, he threw me a curveball down in a little bit, and was just able. I was sitting on the curveball and was able to go out there and get it.
Now your pitching staff made the lead hold up throughout the game. Talk about the effort of Doug Fister, then the job by the bullpen piecing it together.
That was unbelievable. Doug did a great job. Max comes in. I mean, that was a gutsy win, especially with all the opportunities that they had. Bases loaded a couple times, and I mean, their lineup is unbelievable. So just to be able to hold them to 2 runs, they did an outstanding job.
Congratulations, Don. Your home run was consolidated by one by Delman Young right behind him. Tell us about your at-bat on the heels of Don Kelly's home run.
I went up there, after the home run game 3, I kind of was sitting breaking ball because they at least to get ahead in the count, they want to go soft. So I was sitting on it and got one up and drove it out the ballpark.
Now you joined this team after a trade from Minnesota, and here you are now, the Tigers' postseason record, 3 home runs. How does that feel?
I didn't even know anything like that. I'm just glad Dougie went out there after the first start and redeemed himself. Pitched very, very well, kept us in the ballgame the whole time. Scherzer came in, the bullpen came in, did a great job. Victor had a key at bat up there to drive in the run, and everything worked out.
Now, I got to ask you how you feel. Obviously, more baseball to play, moving ahead to play the Texas Rangers in the ALCS. You did have to come out of the game there in the 7th inning. Tell us about the injury.
On the last swing, I felt a little tweak on my oblique. And went out there, but wasn't able to finish off my throws, and so there's no point out there playing superhero right now while we got Rayburn and Dirks out there that can go play outfield and see how it feels and try to be ready for Saturday.
Delman Young, congratulations. Delman Young and the Tigers moving on to the ALCS.
All right, thank you, Tom. And Ron and John, you look at this series, you look at the way this unfolded here tonight, the bullpen of the Detroit Tigers. Jim Leyland goes with Max Scherzer, a starting pitcher, to bridge that gap. Benoit, 5 huge outs, and then Valverde made it look easy.
Well, think about it. All the talk was about why wasn't Verlander in the pen, and it was Scherzer who came through and was just outstanding. Benoit came in, and a little gamesmanship by Joe Girardi to get the Band-Aid off his face, but he used that as inspiration. He was outstanding, and Valverde a 1-2-3 ninth. Just 1 run given up in 4 innings by the Detroit pen. Just a fantastic job.
And John, just quickly looking ahead now, because Jim Leyland was so adamant about not using Verlander, he has Verlander ready to go in Game 1 against the Texas Rangers, and that means their ace has a chance for multiple appearances in the ALCS.
Yeah, it does set up a lot better now for Detroit not using him. That's a great offensive team in Texas. And what better to have your guy on the road in front of a hostile crowd trying to silence the bats of the Texas Rangers.
And Watt's still in the game. A run around for Derek Jeter. Hits one deep and high to right. That short porch looming, but Don Kelly on the warning track with his back against the wall, makes the grab, and the Tigers get out of it. That brings us to the ninth. A-Rod, the final out. Jose Valverde closes it out. An rather uneventful ninth inning for Jose Valverde at bat. 3-2 the final. Oh, the pitching so huge in this one for the Tigers tonight. Just 8 hits for the Tigers tonight, and as Rod said, from about the 4th inning on, it was testy in here, but the Tigers are moving on, and that sounds great to Miguel Cabrera, who's standing by with John Keating as we send you back to Yankee Stadium.
There's no one who's enjoying this win more than Miguel Cabrera. Congratulations. Can you put it into words?
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. You know, we're here in New York. Nobody's played this. So we're a great team, man. We battle, we patient. And you know, it's not about one player here, it's about 25 guys go out there and play hard. And you know, Kelly and Damon, he has big home run today. Oh my God, Martinez, he has big baby when they're walking me, so everybody contributes in this game, so happy right now.
You're out of breath. How much did this game take out of you? It was tough to watch for Tiger.
Yeah, he thought he was tough, you know. We got to give credit, the other team, they got great pitching. They use the bullpen very good. Maglio! I thought you we were not win this one. I thought you we were not win this one. So, it was battle all day, you know. We know it's not going to go easy, so we got to prepare for Texas. We know it's a tough thing to be, so let's go out there and have fun.
All right, we'll talk about Texas later. Congratulations.
Yeah. See you in Detroit, guys. Motor City. We back. Can
I get you real quick?
Cookie.
All right, Mick, thanks. He was the starting pitcher. You went 5 in this one. Was that about where you thought you'd end up?
You know, not really know where to, what to protect. It's just kind of a one pitch at a time thing, and it was a team effort today. I mean, offense picked it up, defense, was outstanding, and everybody coming out of the bullpen was tremendous.
You leave this game, it's a nail biter. I mean, it's tough to watch for Tiger fans. How about for the guys in the dugout?
There's utmost confidence in every one of us, and
come on, you had to be a little nervous.
I mean, obviously there's some emotions running through, but I mean, everybody's right there with everybody. When one guy doesn't get it done, the next guy steps up and grabs it.
All right, you got Texas coming up. At what point do you start letting thoughts wander in the direction of Arlington?
Hey, we're enjoying the night tonight right now. That's the first it's going right now.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
There's Doug Pfister. We're headed into the Tigers clubhouse. It will be a bubbly, happy place, Mick.
Shortly to head into the victorious clubhouse. We're going to take you to the post-game press conference as well. Jim Leland making his way to the podium as we speak. That and more when we continue from the Call Sam studio.
To move on to Texas.
And the baseball season continues. Welcome back to Tigers Live. 3-2 the final in Game 5. The Tigers playing in a series finale for the first time since the 1972 ALCS. Win a series finale for the first time since Game 7 of the 68 World Series. There may not have been a more valuable player for the Tigers in this series than Delmon Young. Set a franchise record with 3 home runs in the ALDS. And back in New York, he stopped to talk with John Keating as he was making his way to the clubhouse a moment ago.
Mick, thanks. One of the heroes in this one, Delmon Young. How good does a home run feel in this kind of setting, in this environment?
It feels good. Now knowing that we won the game earlier, we still, playing the Yankees in their stadium, especially in a situation like this, it always feels like a tied ball game because they can put up a lot of runs really quick. Started out with DK. And then Victor finished it off, and the pitchers did a great job tonight.
You kind of knew that you'd have to get up early on this Yankees team in their ballpark, right?
Yeah, you want to score as many runs as possible. 3 usually does not hold up versus the Yankees. Just been very thankful to have Fister, Scherzer, Valverde, and Benoit out there.
It was tough going in terms of getting runners home when in scoring position. Did you feel like you left some runs out there during the course of tonight's game?
Yeah, we did, but also it's the Yankees pitching staff. You know, they don't give up many runs. You know, they went out there and pitched well. Everyone out there that they brought in pitched very well for them. It was just we got a big hit by Victor, and that sealed the deal.
One quick thought on you. How do you feel?
I don't know. I'm trying to give it a go Saturday.
We appreciate your time. Delman Young dealing with that oblique injury. We'll find out if that plays a role in Game 1 against the Rangers in Arlington, Mick.
All right, John, hopefully nobody feeling no pain right now after this big win in Game 5. Delman Young, maybe this will help make him feel better. He's the Arby's player of the game. 2 for 4 tonight with a solo home run, hit .316 in the series. Rod Allen joins us now, and Rod, Delman, of course, following up Don Kelly's home run with a blast of his own. In the grand scheme of things, how huge were those first 2-inning home runs?
Monumental. I mean, when you go into a very hostile environment, of course, that would be Yankee Stadium, and you're going up against the pitching staff they're going up against. You have to score early, and you want to try to score often. They didn't score often, but they got on the board early. Jim Leland had a hunch Don Kelly would do something special. He batted him second. He went down to the bottom of the strike zone and flipped a curveball over that short porch in right field. And then Delman Young comes up, and he gets a hanging breaking ball. He drills it to left field. It's big to left field, but Delman Young has huge power and has done a marvelous job in this series, as has Don Kelly. So you got a couple of guys in the very first inning allowing Doug Fister some breathing room, and that was huge for the Tigers at the beginning of this ball game.
And that acquisition of Delman Young on August 15th looking pretty good right about now, isn't it?
You think?
Yeah.
That's a really
I think that
good
worked
deal.
out.
I mean, David Dombrowski, I mean, he's really good at what he does, and he knows that Delman has a tremendous amount of talent. As a matter of fact, had Delman been there in 2003 when the Tigers picked first in that draft, they would have taken him. He also played very well down the stretch for the Minnesota Twins last year up against the Yankees. They never won a game against the Yankees until this year with the Tigers, but he has been huge. He's got some power. He's a tremendous right-handed hitter.
The home runs were big, but what do you think was a bigger turning point in this game? Fister getting out of that bases-loaded jam in the 4th, or Benoit getting out of the jam in the 7th, only allowing the 1 run?
I'm going to have to go with Doug Fister. I mean, you're talking about your starting pitcher. You have to somehow get at least 5 innings out of him, which is what he was able to do. But he pitched in a lot of stress. This Yankees team, innings 4 through 8, they really put a lot of pressure on all the Tigers pitchers that were in that game. But Fister made some quality pitches in those situations to get out of those jams. So it was tremendous, and I think he pitched, he did very well.
And you mentioned Dave Dombrowski. You know, power pitching has been a hallmark of the Tigers ever since Dave Dombrowski took over, and it proved to be in this series as well.
Power pitching has been that way for David Dombrowski since he got into professional baseball. Every team that he's been with, whether it be the Montreal Expos, whether it be the Florida Marlins, and now it's the Detroit Tigers, they look for big, strong, physical guys that can throw the ball by you. Verlander is one of those guys, of course, and he is the big ace on this staff. He can simply overpower you. This is what you need if you're going to go deep in the postseason. You have to have some guys that can throw the ball by some hitters early in the game and late in the game. What a start it was by Max Scherzer. That was in Game 2. It was Sunday. Very hostile environment. He also dealt. Joaquin Benoit, what more can you say about him? He was spotting that 95-mile-per-hour fastball, that real good changeup, and he had some separation with a slider, and then you can't get it done unless you have the big guy at the back end of the game, and that would be Papa Grande, who has gotten it done every single time this year. He was flawless this year in save situations. So power pitching most definitely gets it done. And this is the final out of this series, striking out Alex Rodriguez, who had a miserable series from an offensive standpoint. But I like power pitching too.
Jose wasn't right. The series did go back to New York, but he is correct. It's over. They don't have to see the Yankees anymore this year. All right, the celebration, by the way, underway in New York. Speaking of Papa Grande, enjoying the champagne shower, we will take you inside the victorious Tigers clubhouse when we come back.
It's over already, you know what I mean? Verlander have it tomorrow, and the next day, that's it, you know what I mean? Had the celebration in Detroit. All the friends over there.
All right, book the parade, Mick. Back to you.
All right, John, he was almost right. That was John from a few days ago. And you knew they were waiting to jump all over him in New York if he blew it in the 9th. But as we know about Papa, he never blows it.
Mr. Perfect enjoying the fruits of his Game 5 labor as we send you into a champagne spray fest inside the Tigers clubhouse, Valverde, with John Keating.
I'm guessing. You know, guys, I'm so excited right now. This is my second time, my second postseason. You know, I mean, I passed the second round for the Arizona Diamondbacks. You know, I have a better team right now. And thank God, you know, I play for the Tigers because I'm so excited right now. Play for Cabrera and all these guys. And do it safe for the Yankees. It's not easy. Everybody know this guy have a good hitter, good pitchers. You know what I mean? I think he might have a season sabbatical for pitching at home for 2 days rest and be here pitch again. It's unbelievable. You know what I mean? I want to have a guy like this in my team too.
And a 1-2-3 ninth, that almost never happens for you.
You know what? That's what I say when I try to get my wireless. You know what I mean? This is my first time this year. You know, hey, hold on, watch it. This is my first time. I do a 1-2-3. And I'm so excited, you know what I mean? I try to do the most you can throw first pitcher for try, and throw my sinker and my cutter today, and it's working.
You want to get into that party, we'll let you go. Congratulations.
You know, I thank you so much.
Yeah, what he said. I don't know if you understood really any of that before the screen, but you get the idea. Jose pretty pumped to be heading over to Texas for Game 1 of the ALCS. Justin Verlander, you know, it's amazing to think that the Tigers went 5 games in this series and he only pitched once. Didn't see him tonight in relief, even though Jim Leyland joked with him after throwing his side today that he would have to be ready tonight. Verlander, eyes big as saucer, said, "You got to be kidding me. I just threw a side." Jim finally let him off the hook and said, "No, you won't be used. We'll see you eventually in the ALCS." Right now, JV celebrating with the rest of his teammates as we send it back to John Keating in the clubhouse.
Okay. Mick, thanks. The Tigers don't get to this party without Justin Verlander this season. Put this in some perspective for us.
You know, we believed all year long, and, you know, this is the first step. We got 2 more steps to go, but, you know, what a great job to come in here in a crucial Game 5 in Yankee Stadium, you know, and we pulled it off. So what a great day.
There was no one rooting for your team harder than you were in the dugout. Was it tough to watch? Were you in agony?
Yeah, it was tough. My stomach was definitely churning pretty good. You know, that's the worst part, is not being able to do anything about it, but, you know, you got to have faith in our guys.
All right, you had to be...
Oh, boy, Burr.
You had to be watching the bullpen a little bit, sort of, because you got out of sync in terms of who was going to come in. Max goes out and gives you a little bit, and then Benoit has a longer relief appearance. As a guy who's a great fan of pitching, how concerned were you about having enough pitching to get to the end today?
Wasn't concerned at all. You know, our guys have done it all year. They've come out of the pen and done a stellar job, and tonight's another example of that. You know, Max, what a job he did in a you know, the key turning point in the game. And then Joaquin Valverde did what they did all year.
All right, quick thought on Texas, who you'll face.
Not worried about Texas yet. Got some celebrating to do.
Congratulations. There's Justin Verlander. Much more from the Tigers clubhouse as we roll on from the Big Apple, Mick.
All right, John, thank you very much. The Tigers wisely packed for a few extra days on the road. They bid adieu to New York and say a big howdy to Texas, but the celebration continues next on Tigers Live.
It seemed like yesterday. Congratulations. Can you put this kind of celebration, this kind of night, into words for us?
Great. I mean, I get this opportunity to thank the Detroit City, the fans. They've been great the whole season for us. And they just show, once again, you know, that series we went back to Detroit, and they're one of the best in the sport, and you know, thanks them a lot. You know, they've been a big part of this.
How much grinding was there in a Game 5 at Yankee Stadium?
Man, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, we knew it was going to be hard coming here to New York. I mean, to play in New York anywhere is hard. But just to play here in New York it's amazing. And today was just an example of how great at the baseball we played and they played. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
The best sight in this clubhouse is little Victor wearing goggles. How much is he enjoying this, and how much are you enjoying this for him?
Man, to be honest with you, I mean, you know, that's all. I just live for for my family, for him, and he was just telling me, you know, Daddy, I'm telling you, God's gonna help us to win this game. I'm telling you, and you know, I didn't even know what to say to him, you know, and he was so excited, and he just enjoying the moment, man. It just made me. It's gonna make my heart explode.
How tough is Texas going to be?
Well, you know what, man, every team here at this stage, every team is tough. So, I mean, we like our chances too. We like our chances with a lot of respect for.
There he is. There's the young man.
You know, with a lot of respect for everything. I mean, you know, if every team is right here, you know, deserve a lot of respect. So, you know, we're gonna play another tough series, and you know, and let's see what happens.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
There's Victor Martinez and little Victor, a very emotional father here in the visitors clubhouse at Yankee Stadium. Mick.
All right, John, thank you. It's a great scene there right now, Rod. And, you know, where would the Tigers be without Victor Martinez this year when he comes through again tonight with the game-winning RBI? So clutch all year with runners in scoring position. What makes him so good in those situations?
He's one of those rare players that knows how to slow the game down when he gets in big situations, and he was in big situations all year long. When the offseason began last year, the Tigers knew they had to go out and find somebody to hit behind Miguel Cabrera, someone to hit from both sides that could drive in runs. They found that guy in Victor. He hit something like 340 after Cabrera was walked this year, and he also came up big in tonight's game. He ended up driving in the winning run, and this was after, you guessed it, a Cabrera intentional base on balls. But the one thing that he also brings to the table is leadership qualities. Jim Leyland did not know he was getting the kind of leader that he was able to acquire when they signed Victor to a 4-year contract. He goes into the clubhouse. It's like he'd been there all year long, and he was a tremendous leader in that clubhouse, a vocal leader. They had some guys that could play the game, but they didn't have those guys that would lead vocally, and Victor was one of those guys. So he was a tremendous player, and you saw him get emotional when he was talking about his son. That's what I remember about Victor this year, his son being with him just about every single day, and the kind of relationship that he had with his baby boy. It's awfully special.
It is. It's a special moment out there right now, to be sure. Explain this to me. Why the champagne after an ALDS win? I mean, all you've done is won one round of the playoffs, and you move on to the ALCS. It's like celebrating your birthday 4 times a year if you eventually win the World Series.
That's how you do it.
Nobody else does it in any other sport.
Well, it's a different sport.
I'm not being a party pooper, really.
Yes, you are.
No, I think it's cool. I'm just like, you know, why trash another suit if you don't have to?
They're tearing up that Yankee clubhouse.
Yeah, that's right. That's fine. Go ahead. Do the destruction down there. They did it in Oakland, so why not mess up the Yankee clubhouse as well? All right, still much more to come here on Tigers Live. When we come back, speaking of emotional, the skipper has made his way to the podium. We'll take you to Jim Leyland's post-game press conference when Tigers Live continues.
Swisher at the wall, and it's gone, a home run. Put a charge into it. Now fly ball to left off the bat of Delman Young. Going back, Gardner looking up, and it's gone, a home run. Delman Young goes back-to-back with Don Kelly, and the Tigers take a 2-0 lead in the first.
Yeah, it was huge at the time, no doubt about it. Jim Leyland, of course, was planning to go back to New York anyway. He bought a new suit the last time he was there that he had to pick up after tailoring. So this whole Game 5 thing was rather convenient for the skipper. And now that the jaunt to New York is out of the way and he's picked up the suit, he can go ahead and make dinner reservations in Texas. Jim at the podium now as we send you back to the Bronx.
Take just a few questions, and we're going to get Don Kelly in here. Mike, right here, wait for the microphone.
Jim, can you just talk about Benoit's performance in the 7th
What a gutty performance. Actually, he had a thing on his face. He's got a big lump on his face with ingrown hair that just, you know, swelled up on him, and it was, I don't know if it's a chance of getting infected and everything, and that's why the Band-Aid, of course, he couldn't pitch with it. We were a little concerned about that. But what a tremendous gutty performance, and he's been like that all year, so very fortunate to have him. A great free agent signed by Dave Dombrowski. You got to credit Dave a lot for that.
Another question for Jim? Okay. Well, we got 3 of them. Buster in the back, and then Lynn, and then Steve. Wait, Steve, give it. You have to wait for the microphone. We'll get you in a minute.
Jim, you've managed in a lot of tense games. You know, that one-game playoff against Minnesota. How would you put that up against those games?
Well, you know, the Yankees are so good that I'd be lying if I said it didn't give me a little extra satisfaction to be able to do it here in the 5th game, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, I mean that respectfully. So it gave me a great thrill to be able to do it here in Yankee Stadium in Game 5. Unbelievable. I was just talking to Dave Dombrowski. I guess other than the American League pennant that time in the World Series, this would probably be a game that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Steve, take the microphone.
If you remember this the rest of your life, did you reflect at any point on 91 with Cabrera's hit and Sid Bream coming home and how close you were then?
Well, when you're as old as I am, you usually see the good side and the bad side. So I've seen both of them, and what do they say? You know, suffered the agony of defeat and tasted a lot of wonderful victories. So I really wasn't thinking about that tonight, to be honest with you. I was just thinking about that short porch in the ninth inning with Granderson and Cano in particular. And, of course, A-Rod can spit it over that right field fence. So it wasn't an easy task, and Valverde was tremendous.
Lynn?
Delman Young gave you so much help through this playoff series as he did during the second half. He leaves the game with what we were told was a mild oblique. Can you give us any sense for whether or not he might be in trouble for the next series?
Well, to be honest with you, I haven't really checked into that yet. There's no way to really do that just yet, Lynn, because everybody's celebrating so much. I'll talk to the trainers at some point, but I think right now those guys are so happy. They're all jumping up and down. And the only thing I'm worried about Delman right now is that he strains it more because he looks pretty happy in that clubhouse hugging guys and jumping up and down. So
It's going to take one more. Jay?
Yeah, Jim, talk a little bit more about what went into your decision to play Don Kelly tonight and to bat him second.
I'm sorry?
To play Don Kelly and to bat him second.
Tonight.
Well, you know, as I said before the game, you know, sometimes things just work out for you. But I felt like he's been swinging the bat real good, and as I said before the game, he's got a little pop too, and he could reach that right field fence, and of course it didn't take him long to do it. So I'm real proud of him. It couldn't happen to a better kid. I mean, to have this moment in Yankee Stadium for Donnie Kelly, you know, you got your stars, but, you know, to happen to a guy like this, that's real special. I mean, that's a memory he'll have. Cabrera and those guys are going to have millions of memories. But this is one that Donnie Kelly will have forever, and it's a real special moment.
Thanks for everything, Jim. We'll wait for Don Kelly to come in and answer a few.
Thank you very much for your patience through the whole thing. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
An appreciative and emotional skipper, as we come to expect after these big wins over the years with Jim Leland and his team. And you know, you don't hear Jim's name mentioned a lot for Manager of the Year candidates, but regardless of what happens from this point going forward, another job well done.
Well, he had a fabulous year. Yeah. I mean, when you think about some of the stuff that he did during the course of the year, when he rested some of his players early in the season so they would be strong in the month of September, which they were. They had a tremendous month of September. So he just pushes a lot of the right buttons when he plays his role players, guys like Rayburn and Santiago, other guys like that, Don Kelly. He just does a marvelous job.
And you talk about pushing the right buttons. Scherzer out of the bullpen, not completely unexpected. We knew that was a possibility, but again, it works out wonderfully for the Tigers.
Well, he wasn't going to use Verlander out of the bullpen. He just was not going to do that. He says one thing that he will not do is he doesn't want to allow a star pitcher like Verlander to get hurt on his watch, and he just didn't want to get him out of his rhythm. So you had Max. Max had 3 days rest. He was throwing 95. He got up to 98. So another really good move by Jim. He said before the game that Max Scherzer was my CC Sabathia tonight. That's how I'm going to use him in the middle of the innings, and that kind of bridged the gap to Benoit.
Better than CC Sabathia, as a matter of fact, as it turned out. Time now for our Call Sam game summary, and well, it boiled down to this, didn't it? Jose Valverde striking out Alex Rodriguez to end it. The Tigers moving on. That's all you really need to know, as he had done 49 consecutive times during the regular season. Jose comes on to save the day for the Tigers. All right, we'll be back with more Tigers Live in just a moment. John Keating in the clubhouse gathering more reaction to the Tigers' big win, and Dave Dombrowski is right in the middle of it all. Out of the tie and just out of the T-shirt. We'll hear from him next.
Jackson being waved around third, and he will score. Cabrera stops at second. 3-0 Tigers on the sharp line drive. 2 out, single off the bat of Martinez.
And that was your game-winning run in Game 5. The Yankees denied a trip to their 3rd straight ALCS. The Tigers going for their 2nd time in 5 years. And the celebration has become a family affair in the Tigers clubhouse. We saw Victor Jr. celebrating with his dad with non-alcoholic bubbly, by the way. Dave Dombrowski's son Landon in the middle of it, too, with the sparkling grape juice. A lot of happy campers in the Tigers locker room right now. And you can put Dave Dombrowski at the top of that list.
Over here.
This is father and son, the Dombrowskis, Dave and Landon. Congratulations. The chance to douse your son with champagne, not every parent gets a chance to do that. How cool is it?
It's wonderful. It's great to have my son with me. My wife and daughter back in Detroit watching, and we got a special time here. And anytime you can win a divisional LDS in Yankee Stadium and do it with family around you, it's wonderful.
I have sat next to you during baseball games, regular season baseball games. What was sitting next to you like tonight?
Oh, during the regular season's no comparison. It's much, much more tense. And of course, this is one of those ball games from the very beginning where it was tight. You could tell we weren't going to score a lot of runs. They had a good pitching coming out there, and we're going to have to have a tough, tight lead to hold up, and we did.
How worried were you that 3 might not be enough tonight?
I was worried. I mean, a couple times where they had the bases loaded in that 7th inning when Joaquin got the job done. With the bases loaded and Swisher up there, dangerous situation. And even in the 9th inning, as good as Papa Grande's been, when you're going through Granderson, Cano, and Rodriguez, you know it's tough.
You're past this, I know, but to a degree, when you see some of the guys that you brought in during the course of the season really contribute to a game like this, how special does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me special for everybody in the organization. When you see Mr. I walk in here with a smile on his face, and all the years he's been in sports, and him say it's one of the most special days he's ever had in his life, that makes it special. And for all the scouts, I've been getting texts from our scouts and our player development people, and for the whole organization, it's special. We'll be back, and for our fans, because you know what? We're going to be back playing in Detroit next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, against the Texas Rangers.
All right, last one. You're an old scout. Size up the Rangers for me, if you will.
Well, they got a good club. There's no doubt about it. They got a good club. We're in a position. They got a deep lineup. They got a good starting rotation. They've made some acquisitions for their bullpen. But we've got a good club, too, and it'll be interesting to see how we match up.
Landon, pretty cool tonight?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Go to bed now. We appreciate both your time. There are the Dombrowskis celebrating along with everybody else, Mick.
Thank you.
I don't think anybody's going to bed for a while there. Ron Allen with me once again. And you talk about Jim Leland pushing the right buttons this season. Dave Dombrowski's pushed a few, too.
He had a great offseason. I mean, they quickly identified a couple of spots that they wanted to acquire a couple of players. One of those was Victor Martinez. The other one was Joaquin Benoit. And then during the course of the year, it was Pfister, it was Betamete, and it was also Delman Young. So David Dombrowski, one of the sharpest general managers in the game. He's been in the game for a long, long time. Probably the longest tenured general manager and respected in the game of baseball. So a marvelous year for David Dombrowski.
And one of those offseason acquisitions, as you mentioned, Joaquin Benoit with John Keating, as we take you back inside the Tigers clubhouse.
All right, Mick, thanks. Certainly one of the big stories in tonight's game was Joaquin Benoit, who pitched an inning plus of relief. Did you think you were going to be assigned that length of ball game tonight?
Well, Game 5, I think everything goes. Everything goes, and last time we were here, I pitched 2 innings. This time I got 1 2/3, so I don't know what's going to happen next.
You walked in the second run. How much are you grinding at that point? How much is your heart in your throat?
I mean, walking the guy wasn't I think a walk is the one thing that pisses me really off. I don't like to walk people. I think every time you walk a guy, that guy didn't earn the base. So to me, it's always bad that I walk somebody, I give him a free base.
You got a cut from shaving? Is that what brought the umpires to the mound? What was that all about?
Well, it's an ingrowing hair that got infected, and so I got really bad. So I got a Band-Aid, and they make me take it out.
All right, you know what'll clean that up? Champagne. That'll fix you right up. Thanks for your time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There's Joaquin. I've heard that anyway. I think there's some medicinal qualities in champagne, Mick.
No one feeling any pain in the Tigers clubhouse as the celebration continues. Jim Leland addressed the media at the podium a moment ago, but when Tigers Live continues, Jim speaks with John Keating one-on-one. Best Barbara Walters impersonation is with the Skip back in his office in New York.
Mick, thanks. Is there a better feeling in the world than this one?
No, this was a great finish to the 5-game series, obviously, particularly to be able to do it here is pretty amazing. And really, I'm sorry we didn't get it done for our fans in Detroit, but this one's for them.
What's special about this team?
Well, we're good. I mean, we're talented, you know. I mean, we got good personalities and all that, but that doesn't have anything to do with winning games. you got to be good. We're good. I mean, we've been saying that all year long, and we are a good team. We're a real good team, and we beat a real good team. And we're going to play another real good team. And if we could get by that one by chance and be fortunate enough to do that, we'd play another good team. So that's just the way it is.
Doug's pitch count got up a little bit, and you went to Max Scherzer. How much wrestling did you do with that decision?
Well, hopefully that'll silence everybody that wanted me to pitch Verlander, and hopefully Donnie Kelly will silence everybody that wanted me to play somebody else. That's just the way it is. But this is for the fans that in Detroit that are watching tonight. I know you're in the bars. I know you are. I know you're having a lot of drinks, and I hope you are. But this is for you. I'm sorry we didn't get it done for you Tuesday night, but we got it done for you tonight, and I hope you're having one hell of a time.
Well, the drinks are for the nerves, because this one was tough to watch if you live and bleed with the Tigers.
This is what we do for a living, and that's what I say when everybody says you're sitting there, you know, believe me, your heart's beating. But, you know, you have to remain pretty calm, obviously, and, you know, you're nervous. You know, you'd be lying if you said you weren't. You're supposed to be. If you're not, you're not human. But, like I said, this one's for our fans in Detroit.
And you have told us in the past how much those fans mean to you. I think we got a sense of that in this series when the Yankees came into your place.
Yeah, well, they were unbelievable at home, and believe me, how bad we wanted to do it at home. But I can't say this is better, because it would have been better to win it in front of our home fans. But I'll tell you what, this is close. So to come in Yankee Stadium with all the hype and all the tradition and all the, you know, the great memories. I was thinking back of Chris Chambliss tonight, the home run he hit to win it in Game 5. You know, to do it here is pretty good.
How many, I saw you checking your voicemail, how many congratulatory voicemails have you already received?
Well, I've had 17 messages already. I guess they call it text. I can't text, so don't anybody expect me to text them back. But I did get some voicemails, and there's a whole bunch of them. But I'll get to them, but I'm probably not going to get to them right now. I'm going to wait. I'm going to enjoy this a little bit. I'm actually going to have a little
ginger ale
celebration drink myself, and then you know, we'll get showered up and head to Texas, but we're not going to be in any hurry. What's the difference now, an hour or two? They deserve to celebrate, and there's no sense pushing it. So I just hope everybody back home enjoyed this one.
We'll see you in Arlington. Thanks.
Well, a well-earned celebratory beverage for the skipper. And unlike Ivan Nova, Tigers Live not done yet. More players, more analysis, more champagne, just more on this Thursday night from the Coliseum when we come back. Fall Classic Legends are born in October, and exclusive coverage of the ALCS begins Saturday only on Fox. And we will be with you following Game 1 with ALCS post-game coverage from Texas. Rod and I will be in studio. John Keating takes the show on the road to Arlington. All we need is you immediately following Game 1, the Tigers Live playoff post-game coverage only here on Fox Sports Detroit. But before he hops on a plane for Texas, John Keating joins us one more time from the Bronx, and he's joined by our good friend John Paul Morosi from FoxSports.com. John, what a night. The Tigers did it the hard way, but they got it done.
Well, Mick, this has become our life. We get on planes and we go to the very coolest party we can find, and we get, you know, the champagne showers, and then we get on another plane and move on. This was sort of improbable tonight, coming back to New York, having surrendered that 2-1 series lead, and the Yankees play so well in their own building.
Yeah, John, I think those Yankee fans might have remembered what Jose Valverde had said about not coming back here. He was booed a little bit on the way into the game, but really a terrific postseason game. I think that's the first thing. A great ball game. I found it interesting. No Tiger pitcher threw a pitch today without having the lead, and that was a big thing. They got the lead early, and they kept it barely right to the end.
All right, from you, we look for a little national perspective. Alex Rodriguez makes the final out in this series. It was a tough series for him. He's making, I don't know, more than $170,000 a game, something in that neighborhood. How tough will his offseason be?
It's going to be a long one. It's going to be a tough one, John. And remember, this is not the final year of his deal. He's got several more years on this contract. There's going to be a lot of talk here about, is this the sign of a decline? He did not have a good year. Really, it's probably his worst year as a Yankee. And now in New York, they'll be talking about the changes they'll have to make. Posada's contract is up. A lot of changeover in this team, New York, right now. But the Tigers obviously are pretty excited about what they're doing going into the next round.
All right, so tomorrow we will learn more about Delman Young, and we'll talk at that point more about the Texas Rangers, whom the Tigers will see in the battle for the American League pennant. But for now, that's it from Yankee Stadium. Mick, back to you.
All right, guys, so it's off to Texas. Thank you, guys. John, we'll talk to you again on Saturday. And John Paul Morosi, thanks for chiming in as well. Tigers went 6-3 against the Rangers during the regular season. Ron, does that mean anything heading into the ALCS?
Absolutely not. It really doesn't mean anything because there was parts of this season where Josh Hamilton was on the disabled list. Also Nelson Cruz, very talented right fielder, on the disabled list. And you also had some other players, Adrian Beltre, who missed some time. So you can throw all the regular season numbers out the window. It's going to be very, very difficult to beat Texas.
And Adrian Beltre, huge in that series over the Rays with those 3 home runs and their clinching win. Alexi Ogando was the only Rangers starter to beat the Tigers this year. He's now in their bullpen. Do they maybe rethink that for the ALCS?
That's a great question because he was so tough on the Tigers during the course of the regular season that with all the right-handed pop the Tigers have, he might consider putting Ogando back into that starting rotation because they have a couple of left-handers to start off that rotation, and then they have a right-hander. But Ogando, he's been a difference maker. He's pitching in the 8th inning again, which he did a couple of years ago when he was pitching ahead of Neptali Feliz. They made a deal in the offseason. They brought in a couple of arms, one from San Diego, one from the Baltimore Orioles. So the back end of their bullpen is intact, and Ron Washington has been able to use that bullpen effectively during the first course of the division series. They're only playing 6-inning games right now, are the Texas Rangers, because that bullpen is so deep. So it's a very different team. That's a very talented team. They've got some speed, they've got some power, they've got balance, they've got a really good manager in Washington that loves to push the envelope.
Got about 20 seconds. What scares you the most about the Rangers if you're the Tigers?
Josh Hamilton. He's probably the most talented player in the game of baseball today. He can do everything. He's got power. He hits for average. He's got speed. He's a great defender. He's got a really good arm. So he's the guy that scares me.
All right, well, we'll move on to that and deal with that on Saturday. For now, we will call it a night and look forward to Saturday evening. Now, Rod Allen, for all of us at Fox Sports Detroit, John Keating as well, thank you for being with us for a great year. Once again, we'll be with you following Game 1 on Saturday night right here on Fox Sports Detroit. The Tigers advancing after a Game 5 win over the Yankees, 3-2 the final. We'll leave you now with the best of Game 5 in the final take. Thanks for watching. Good night, kids.